Hello, welcome to the Age of Sigmar World Team Championships for the final day here in Hotel Schiphol in Amsterdam. We're your hosts. I'm Rob. This is Dan. Hello, everyone, for this exciting round. You can already hear shouting around the hall. Yeah. We are about to kick off what is going to be an incredible match between Denmark and Sweden. Dan, how are you feeling today?
Fantastic. This tournament has already been playing for 2 days and 4 rounds. We are into round 5. We have 24 nations, 8 players on each team. They've got coaches, they've got assistants and support staff. It is absolutely massive, and they are competing to see which nation are the War Dolly Warriors of 2023.
And this one is an exciting one because this is a Nordic battle. Yeah, we've got Denmark. That's okay to do.
You can do that.
Yeah, Denmark versus Sweden. Now, Denmark have taken out some absolutely blinding teams.
They have been assassins this year.
They gave England a slapping.
Now, England, the 2-time world champions, going undefeated back-to-back seasons and really coming in form. They were the team to beat, and they got beat in round 2.
Round 2 by the Danish. Then they went and took out the USA. Then they went and took out France. Now, some of those wins were closer, and so while the Danes were battling some of the biggest teams on the planet, the Swedish were just slapping off anyone they could find.
They were like, the Danes were going for the top of the pops, and the Swedes were just coming through and taking out anybody else left in the backfield.
So this is the battle to keep IKEA.
The battle for IKEA.
This is the battle. This is Denmark versus Sweden. We have other matches that are going on that are also very important. France are definitely in the running, so they'll be playing. They're playing against Italy, who are also in the running. So we've got some really exciting matches. We're obviously going to be covering this match. There's one more round today. This is round 5 of round 6. So the scores at the end of this are going to be very big. Both teams, Sweden currently the leaders by a few points. Both teams need to rack up. You can potentially score 120 points. Both teams need to score as many points as they can. Let's jump over to the tables.
Absolutely.
They want a massive win. We are jumping straight to table 1, where we've got Philip Wall versus Sven. Philip Wall represented Team Sweden. Sven representing the Danes. Let's talk about what is in their list, Dan. Now, I should probably mention the battle plan.
Yes.
That's what I should talk about first. They are playing only the worthy. You can see it there. There are 4 objectives. The 2 on the left and the right only can be contested, not contested by Galician champions. Let me just double check that. No, champs have obsec on all of them.
Meaning those small champions with few wounds and not mounted, so really the easiest to kill, can go in there, grab the gold, and stop anyone else from scoring them, which is it's going to be really big in this matchup, KO versus Fireslayers, because both armies do lean heavily on those characters, meaning that they're going to be doing the work.
Again, we've seen this matchup happen time and time again. We've seen the Courage Overlords versus the Fireslayers. Dan, what have you got in the Danish KO list?
Now, we're looking at this Danish KO list, and it is very, very... it's what we've seen a lot, in fact. We've said it a few times, we've seen it again. So the Courage Overlords, they are dwarven sky pirates who trust to technology. They fly in floating boats, and they are armed to the absolute teeth with blasty guns. Now, they are rocking... they're from Barak Urbaz, which means they are a city that has one particular thing we will almost certainly see in this list. We have 2 Aether Chemists, so lovely little guys with big guns. One of them has a spell in a bottle, and in that bottle, as everybody who has seen the games before, is a bridge, a big magical bridge that lets a unit teleport across the board. We also have an Etheric Navigator. He reads the stars and the skies to make things better for him and worse for his opponents. An Admiral leading the charge, and an Endron Master to keep the boats in the sky. Now, importantly in this list as well, there is a Celestant Prime. He is the embodiment of Sigmar, the god of the human race, really, and he wields a big hammer. He'll drop from the sky and smash holes wherever he comes, but the question is, when will he show up? Now, in the rest of the list, we have 2 units of Grunstock Thunderers, so they're the shooty heart of this army. We have a unit of Endron Riggers, who will be repairing whatever boat they're in, making sure it doesn't go down, and then a unit of 10 Arcanaut Company, who are the interns of this army, and they'll all be floating around in a frigate, a combat boat that gives big advantages in it charges charges in. So this is going to be a really balanced list, mostly shooting with a small combat element.
Okay, so he's up against Sven with his Barrett Urbaz up against Philip Wall. He's running a classic Fire Slayers list, and the important part is a double Flame Keeper. We haven't seen them deployed, but we will talk about it. Terrain piece gone down on the board, as you can see already. The double Flame Keepers is going to proc, or is going to react to slain models around it. That's in there, and then other than that, you've got the Battlesmith for the 4-up rally in the list, a Rune Master and a Rune Father, 2x10 Volkite Berserkers, 30 Volkite Berserkers, and 30 Hearthguard Berserkers. That 30 Volkite Berserker brick will be a shield, and then they're going to die, and they're going to tick up the Flame Keeper, hopefully rally, and then fight. So you've got a Fire Slayer meaty front wall, and then you've got all the shooting. The shooting, hoping, I suppose we don't have sharpshooters in the KO force, so at least those Fire Slayers heroes will be safe from shooting for a little bit, so he's going to have to shoot at the other units as well. Right, jumping to table 2, it's the same battle plan. Don't forget, only the worthy, so it's all about Galician champions. And we've got William representing Team Sweden with his Skaven force against Casper with his Beasts of Chaos all herd army. So Dan, what's in our Beasts of Chaos force?
Okay, so in the battle of goats versus rats, we have an all-herd Beasts of Chaos army. So what we are looking here at mutant goats who run from the edges of the board, swarm it, and try to tear it and despoil the lands. They are led, as every Beast of Chaos army we've seen so far this week, by a Doom Bull, a big angry minotaur who loves to whip his followers into a frenzy and flick them into battle, and Be'lakor the Dark Master, an almost god demon prince who didn't quite make the cut, but he has the ability to turn off an opponent's unit for one turn of the game, which is a massive, massive swing. Now, in the army, we have 2 units of Bulgor, a big unit of 9 and a unit of 6, both with cleaving axes, meaning they're extra choppy and not very durable. Then we've got 10 Ungors, a unit of 20 Ungor Raider, which are like small, it was a small little barely formed goat people, and a Cockatrice, a big, weird, winged bird snake that has a very niche ability to look at someone in the combat phase with its steely gaze and make them struggle to hit. These all surround a Herdstone, which is going to be providing a big buff, and given that they're all herd, they will most likely be bringing models back every turn.
Yeah, you can see the Herdstone there in the bottom left-hand corner. Be'lakor, great pick in Beast of Chaos, specifically because of the way that they Alpha Strike. Well, or Alpha Strike's is a kind of relevant term, but what they're going to do is try to completely decapitate the snake of the enemy belonging to William. But he's got a Plague Priest, a Thanquol, a Verminlord Warbringer, a Warlock Engineer, and a Death Master. Then he's got 3 units of 20 Clan Rats, 10 Storm Vermin, 2 Warp Lightning Cannons. Those Warp Lightning Cannons obviously doing mortal wounds at range. That's not going to overly affect Casper because he won't be on the board.
No.
But he does have some very meaty screens in those Clan Rats, so removing those for the Beast of Chaos army is going to be a little bit of a challenge. And then Thanquol and also the Verminlord Warbringer, who gives fight on death, is going to be a very useful piece in this army. But please don't forget, please don't forget the Beast of Chaos army probably won't deploy on the board.
No, there's not going to be any of them on the board. They won't show up until turn 2.
So table 3, we're going over to table 3, and we have a new set of battle plans. So this is Lurkers Below.
My gosh.
Lurkers Below is 3 objectives, and you deploy on the sides like this, and then you have to own your home objective, which you start off doing. You have to own the middle, and then you have to pick. Then you have to also go and claim the one on the far side opposite you, and you have to do them sequentially as well. So you can't own this one, and then have the one in the middle third. It doesn't work that way.
It's an arm wrestle. Arm wrestle.
Yeah, so it's a tug of war across the board. Okay, and we got Eric Hilborn playing the Flayed, and then Alexander playing Guild of Summoners. So we have Zinch versus Korn. That's a nice matchup. You would think for Denmark, especially because of the blood tithe that you can generate. For Sweden.
For Sweden, they'll be really happy with this.
We'll see. We'll see how that works out.
So we have in this Zinch list for Team Denmark. So Zinch are a magical faction. They're focused on chaotic magic, and Guild of Summoners love to bring birds onto the board. Now, in this list, we have Kairoth's Fate Weaver, an incredibly powerful spellcaster, a Magister, a second Magister, and then a Great Bray Shaman allied in, a Goat Priest Wizard. We also have a unit of 10 Zangors, and 2 units of 10 pink horrors who are going to really soak up the charges and really hold position. They're incredibly durable. We have a unit of 20 splintered Fang allies, quite unique in this list, and 9 untamed beasts. We have the Burning Sigil of Tzeentch, the Chronomatic Cogs, and the Quicksilver Swords. So a really, really versatile list with quite a few tricks up its sleeve.
Yeah, it's very, very versatile, but it is going to have to push into the midboard, and one of its problems, as Tzeentch Force often has, is its ability to be aggressive.
Yes.
So up against the Khorne Force, belonging to Eric Hilborn, he's got the Flayed, and he's got a Bloodthirst of Insensate Rage, the Boom Thirster as it's known, so it's going to be very important to try and get him in the fight. A Slaughter Priest, Scarblood Wrath, and Bloodsecrator. Then he's got 2 units of 10 Blood Warriors, 3 Mighty Skull Crushers. He's got 2 of those, and you can already see those deployed at the top of the board, and then 5 Wrathmongers. So he hasn't got what we would necessarily describe as a hammer piece. So like that's a very big gut punch army, like 9 Bulgor is an example of that on the previous table. But he does have those 10 Blood Warriors for screening. Now. This is going to be a really interesting one. We're going to come back to this matchup.
Yeah.
Obviously, chat, I'd love to know what you think about this. The Battle of the Middle. Jumping over table 4, another Battle of the Middle. Yikes. I don't think our table 4 is updated from yesterday, so we're just going to get our overlay team to work on table 4. Maybe need OBS resetting, because that's definitely not working. So then we'll jump over. We'll jump over to table 5.
Let's go to table 5. So on table 5, we are playing the Nidus Paths. Now, the Nidus Paths we'll be able to see down here. They have a number of they've got a number of objectives. Got 4 objectives around, and a really quite a complex deployment where we're in a diagonal. But the important part about the Nidus Paths are these corners. So these corners here teleport across. So from corner to corner, if you're within 6 inches of them at the end of the movement phase, you can jump across the other corner of the board. Now, we saw that used in 2 different ways previously, the last time this match was played. In one instance, to keep units alive, to hide them in the corner, and then when aggression comes that way, to run over to the other edge, or to play from behind your opponent's lines. Now, going into this match, we have Slaanesh for Denmark.
Well, so this is actually a pretty massive match. This Mouth with his Pretenders Force for Slaanesh against Ronya, currently 20-0 at the World Championships over the course of 2 years. Ronya with her Jaws of Mork. Now, a lot of people want to pair Pretenders and Slaanesh into the Jaws of Mork and the Gloomspike Gits, but Ronya has yet to find a challenge. There she is, yet to find a challenge she cannot defeat at the World Championship. She has lost games in her career, but at Worlds and for Sweden, undefeated.
Totally undefeated.
Okay, all right. So, Dan, do you want to take us through what is in Ronya's list?
In the
Mouth's list.
In
the
Slaanesh list. Yeah, in the Slaanesh list that will be trying to break Ronya's winning streak. We have Pretenders. They've the Contorted Epitome and a Lord of Pain. So very, very light on the characters in this one. A unit of 22 Bliss Barb Archers, 2 units of 11 Bliss Barb Archers, very, very popular for their shooting damage and the ability to project power. A unit of 5 Bliss Barb Seekers, so mounted archers, 2 units of 5 Slick Blade Seekers, and a unit of 10 Slick Blade Seekers, meaning that this list leans a lot more into fast cavalry strikes, lightning quick strikes, before your opponent can get the return. However, they will struggle against the Squigs.
They will. Gloomspike Gits, Jaws of Mork. We got Grincrack the Great, gives Fight on Death. Fun-God Cave Shamer, Squig Boss with the Hero Phase move. And then Scragrot the Loon King with all of the buffs he provides. It's okay, it's fine now. 15 Boingrot Bounders, 5 Boingrot Bounders, 36 Squig Herd, a Gobblepalooza at Grincrack's Loon Core. What we've seen is a lot of people double stack units like Boingrot Bounders or Squig Herd, but Ronya's gone for just the one of each, and also then the buff pieces, which is lovely to see. We're going to jump back to table 4 now. It's all sorted out. And again, we're playing that battle plan where you've got 3 objectives and you need to control all 3 in order to win it.
3.
We've got Michael playing for Sweden with his Ravagers list against Rune Hulsa, playing Geometrica. Rune is doing great work. I think Rune with the big win yesterday against Yorin, who we saw go 5-0 in the singles event, to take the win against Team France in the dying moment. So Rune's got my respect and admiration. Very excited to see him play. He's playing Geometrica. Dan, let's talk about what's in his list.
This is the first time I'm going to talk about an elf list that I have a modicum of respect for, because it isn't just a bunch of arrows being shot into the face of their opponents. Let's talk about it. Eumetrica is a stone temple list. They live in the mountains, they worship rock cows, and they are elves with big, big hats. So they are, of course, led by Teclis, a big magical spellcaster with incredible damage potential and support defense. He has a Sonari Cathala, a sooky little elf that loves to cry its eyes out and make its opponents worse, and the Light of Altharion, an empty suit of armor that is going to trash, smash, and stab its way across the board. We have 2 units of 10 Venari Wardens, so more of a defensive shield wall, lots of pikes, lots of stabs. A unit of 5 Venari Dawn Riders, so mounted elves, very quick and quite versatile on the table. And then an Alarith Spirit of the Mountain, a gigantic stone cow hewed out of the side of a mountain, wielding a big hammer, ready to smash up some face. Now, a couple of endless spells in here. The Umbral Spell Portal, which is going to let him shoot magic across the board even further, and a Rune of Petrification, all wrapped up in a single battle regiment, meaning he deploys his entire force in a single drop.
So he's up against Michael Town, who's representing Team Sweden. He's got Slaves of Darkness from the subfaction Ravagers. This means he's going to be able to recycle cultist units, which is going to be, as John shows you on the screen there, some Splintered Fang. He actually has 4 units of 20 Splintered Fang, a unit of 9 Unmade, then he's got an Exalted Hero of Chaos, and leading that rabble of lads.
The rabble?
The rabble of lads is Archeon the Ever Chosen. Fast, damagey, survivable, very, very potent. It's going to be very interesting to watch him. And the sheer explosive glass hammer damage that you're going to see from that Splintered Fang. Okay, so that's table 4. So we know table 3. Table 3. We know table 3 and table 4 are going to be playing the battle plan where you need to. It's going to be automatic win from turn 3.
Yes.
So that's just something to watch out for. So scores won't update on tables 3 and 4, apart from maybe doing some battle tactics. But the main play is getting 20 points by achieving this. Table 5, going back to it, as Dan discussed, is Nidus Paths, and our other pairing in the Nidus Paths matchup is Jonas representing Team Sweden with his Sineshi Pretenders force against Morton representing Team Denmark with his Knights of the Empty Throne Slaves to Darkness list. Dan, what's in the Slaves to Darkness list?
So this is the Knights of the Empty Throne list. So we saw on the last table Archeon, the Lord of the End Times, the Ever Chosen. When he's away, his boys will play, and that is the Empty Throne list. They are Varangard, his chief lieutenants, damage-dealing hammers of units mounted on feral steeds that just absolutely do the work in combat. Now, this army is led by a Chaos Sorcerer Lord. He's going to be putting it out there. There's Theodora Skullscryer from Underworlds, and then a unit of Varangard as the general with a Mark of Khorne. They're reinforced, so there's 6 of them. In the battle line, we have Chaos Knights, and then an additional unit of 6 Varangard, 9 Corvus Cabal, so a few cultists flying around on their pretend feathers, and then the Godsworn Hunt that come with Theodora Skullscryer. Really interesting list, but again, all in one battle regiment, meaning one single drop.
Okay, so then he's up against the Sinesh force. So that was Morton, and then he's up against Jonas from Team Sweden. So Sinesh running Pretenders. It means you're going to get a lot of CP. That's what that means. It's got Contorted Epitome, a clutch unit in lots of these Sineshi forces, and then it's very much what we've seen before: Lord of Pain and a Be'lakor. Yeah, Be'lakor very, very useful, especially into those Varangard blocks, because those are big hammer pieces. And being able to shut down one of those is going to be very good. 22, and 11 Blitzbarb Archers, making for 55 Blitzbarb Archers, but 120 shots, which is bonkers. A unit of 5 Slickblade Seekers and a unit of 5 Blitzbarb Seekers. Thank you very much. So pretty exciting match. We'll see how this ends up. But yes, I think if I was to just call it for you right now, Pretenders don't have the Rend to go through
that heavy chaos armor of the Knights of the Empty Throne.
But we'll see. But they can't take us. They can't take a smack back. And then finally, we've got tables 7 and 8.
Now these tables are playing everyone's least favorite battle plan.
Or favorite.
Depends on if you're a bad person on the inside. Twists and Turns. Now, Twists and Turns is played on the diagonal, as you can see here, with 5 objectives. Now, the objective is the scoring is standard. However, the bit that either makes or breaks this battle is that each of these 5 objectives, once you control them and score on them, you roll a dice at the end of the turn. And on a 4 up, they stay active, but on a 1 to 3, they just turn off and you can't score them for a round. Meaning that we saw last time this match was played, there were a couple of turns where there were no objectives to be scored at all on the entire board, devastating some players' ability to put points on the board.
So we've got Kasper Agdal representing Denmark and Jesper Melenda from Asylum Wargaming as well as being part of Team Sweden.
And just a babe.
Also one of the Malarkey crew, I don't know if the Malarkey crew are listening, playing against it. Jesper's running Old Soulblight Gravelords. Kasper is running Jaws of Mork. And Kasper's just a tall drink of water, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is a hot this is a hot round.
Both these teams are very hard to focus on the game because the gentlemen behind the table, the ladies and the gentlemen behind the table, are stunning.
Yeah.
Actually, this morning I went down to the gym a little bit early, get a workout in so I could keep up with them. I could barely focus because there were a bunch of Vikings working out in there, Rob. So let's talk about this Jaws of Mork list for the Gits. Now, Jaws of Mork is a sub-faction that focuses on squigs, which are little balls of hate that you can see on screen. They're basically a great white shark crossed with a Pomeranian. Now, what the Jaws of Mork do, they get extra attacks on the charge, very bitey. We've got a Mad Cat Shaman with the Moonface Mommet, and we've got Scragrot the Loon King, the king of the squigs. We got a squig boss with Nasha Squig with the clammy hand. He's going to be bringing units back from the dead, and then a squig boss with Nasha Squig, but no Gringcrack the Great, so no fight on death there. They've got a unit of 15 Boing Rot Bounders, which are Goblin Knights, a unit of 5 Boing Rot Bounders, a unit of Squig Hoppers, and 36 Squig Herd. That's a big damage dealing unit right there. A Gobberpalooza and 6 Sneaky Snufflers, the truffle pigs of the Git universe.
Yeah, so then we got for Sweden, we got Jesper, and he's running Legion of Night, Soulblight Gravelords, a White King, Manfred von Karstein, a Necromancer. This is old Soulblight Gravelords, a Vampire Lord, 2 units of 40 zombies, 2 units of 20 Graveguard, and 10 Direwolves. So those 20 Graveguard are the hammer units in the army. The Deadwalker Zombie is also very potent as well, going into the right matchup, and Jaws of Mork is the right matchup for them. They get to kill models and then also add those models back into their zombie units, which is quite nice because this is the old book, and they get to pile in from 6 inches as well. So you might see, and thanks to Necromancer, pile in and attack twice. So you really might see a lot of squigs turned into zombies, which is actually pretty funny.
Hilarious.
Love to see that. And then our final game, table 8. Twists and turns again. Christopher, for Team Denmark against Christian for Team Sweden. Christian is running Daughters of Cain. Christopher is running Sylvaneth. And Dan, what is in Christopher's list?
Well, in the battle to see who gets to keep the name Chris, we have the Gnarlroot, the dwindling Gnarlroot, led by Alariel the Everqueen. She is a big utility piece. She can summon a unit. She can come back from the dead once. Very, very key in this list, but a big point sink. We've got the Spirit of Durthu, who is a big tree with a big sword, and he's going to want to jump out of a set of trees, stab something, and then disappear back into the shadows. We have a Warsong Revenant, who is a bit of a buff-debuff piece, and he creates a safe harbor for the Sylvaneth army, for the tree people, and a Battle Mage, which we've seen before and is mostly used to, the Battle Mage is mostly used to extend that charge range to get them in deep. Now, very light on the rest of it, very heavy on the heroes, very light on the rest. We've got 2 units of 10 Dryads and 1 unit of 5 Tree Revenants to be screening and scoring, and then a Spite Swarm Hive, which can be summoned to extend that charge range even further. So the guerrilla tactics of the tree people is what they're going to be relying on here.
Can we just talk about Christopher's outfit choice? He has been rocking this, I would say, devastating frontal assault.
80s, eat your heart out.
Yeah, he has been ready. There's an incredible picture of him bodying Team England, Dan Bradshaw, yesterday, where he just looks like he has summoned the rage of everyone in the 80s. And this morning, he was dancing to the 118 music to get himself in the zone.
Wow, this man, he's unstoppable.
Yeah, but he's also unstoppable. I think he hasn't lost a match.
Tell me what's going to try and stop him, right?
Yeah, so it's Marathi in the post-8. Christian is running for Team Sweden. He's got Marathi, the goddess of, I think, eating elves. And then, I can't be certain about that. And then also a bunch of... Oh, no, actually, let's just triple-check, because one of the lists here at the event does have the fighty snakes. It would feel like that's a mistake to take it, so let me...
That doesn't look like a fighty Fighty Snake list, Rob. That looking at the screen there. Oh, there's a unit of Fighty Snakes.
Yeah, but there's only a unit of 5. So 15 Bow Snakes and then Marathi. A pretty devastating list we saw play to effect well yesterday, which is really fun. Can you guys point to the overgrown terrain? We could probably. It's just these. It'll be these forests that you can see on the board there. That'll be the overgrown terrain. That helps everyone. Massive love to Eric Sund in the chat. Huge love. Big fan. We also have, you should see there, yes, this is Denmark and Sweden. This is how they got to the current standings that they're at now. So Denmark got 398 points. They got to beat up Canada in the first round, England in the second round. Then they started to hit some of the tougher matches, but they managed to jump the hurdle of USA, jump the hurdle of France, and Sweden to be announced. Sweden got a real big game into Spain at the start. Then they took a small loss to Northern Ireland.
Very small. Look at how close that was.
Then but they hammered Australia.
They trashed Australia.
Yeah, they did, and then they also hammered the USA.
Now, really interesting here, Rob. Look at how Sweden did against the USA, 105-55, and when we look at what Denmark did into the USA, 84-76.
There's so many competing factors, though. There's pairings, but there's also battle plans. Which I think is really interesting. Now, we do also have one final bit of news. Tables 1 and 2, so Table 1 belong to Philip and Sven, and Table 2, Casper and William. They have a thing around the region where Denmark and Sweden is called the Nordic Masters, which is an event for players that have done well at previous events. And Tables 1 and 2 are literal rematches of the Nordic Masters. No, and at the Nordic Masters, Denmark did end up winning that. So you got a nice little bit of recap. However, while Denmark have got the Nordic Masters under their belt, last year Sweden took the win versus Denmark. So Denmark coming in here. So it's literally everything to play for, all of the games to play for. We're going to jump straight to Table 3 because we are on the off in this match. Very excited. Thank you everyone for tuning in live. Dan, you're doing great. I just want to shout out, before we get started, our table bosses, John with our cameraman, Cabbage, and also Mark, and then Mike for updating the overlays. Massive thanks. And Ziggy bringing us all the hot stats.
Yeah, that's it. We got a numbers guy as well. This is incredible. Okay, so let's have a super quick look at this board presence and see where we see. Obviously, Tzeentch don't want to push forward too aggressive. That's not their play style. They're more of a defensive, slow burn army. So we've got screens put out the front here, protecting that Kairos, and then the rest of the units kept in kind of a defensive formation towards the back. We've on the other side though, Khorne, very aggressive. That's how they want to play. We've seen here the deployment was actually quite tight, probably just not wanting to let a unit of pink horrors come and pin them in place, which would have been devastating early game for them. So we can see here, Khorne have pushed their screens forward, not massively, because remember, you only win this match by automatically beating your opponent by capturing 1, 2, and then 3 in order. So he doesn't want to commit too early, because if he commits now and doesn't have the energy left for the final push to take that objective, he won't be able to do it.
I think there's lots to talk about here. Number one, the tempo for a Tzeentch force, so the army on the far right, is pretty fast, especially at a Guild of Summoners where it's literally designed to ramp quicker. And what I mean by that is they cast spells and then they generate a lot of different units from specifically more Lords of Change. And while they do struggle in many ways to generate outputty units in the Tzeentch force. It's normally why you see an Incarnate in the army. Putting a bunch of Lords of Change on the board is going to be very effective as well. But all said and done, while Alexander with his Guild of Summoners army definitely can take the mid-board and hold it with a bunch of units, he has to take out what is a pretty strong and aggressive Khorne force. We should talk about some of the stronger units here. These Skull Crushers, you can see, they're 15 wounds on a 2-up armor save, which is pretty good. The whole army has a 5-up spell ignore as well, so Khorne have a 5-up spell ignore, and every time that they do ignore the spell, then they're going to generate an additional Blood Tithe point, which eventually they can change to have a 4-up spell ignore, 3-up spell ignore. They can even go to a 2-up spell ignore eventually. So what they're probably looking to do is they're going to put some units on some objectives and then try and make it so these spells hit their lines. Now, the Tzeentch force doesn't have to actually engage in that game. They can just shoot spells into the air. They don't even have to hit a target.
They're kind of like just crazy Texans on the 4th of July.
Just
let them off into the air,
sky.
fire off those those fireworks.
But I would say that the Tzeentch Force is going to struggle to take out some of the more heavily armored parts of this army. And then when they do try to take out those units, they are then going to keep playing into the Khorne's player's turn, battle plan, and what he wants to achieve. So it's quite an interesting match. And then the key piece in the game is here. The Boomthirster, the Bloodthirster of Incessant Rage. He has an AoE mortal wound damage spell, which I think is going to come in pretty clutch. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see this actually be a very relaxed game, Dan, because the Tzeentch Force in many of these lists isn't actually designed to necessarily win. It's designed not to lose badly. And that's not to say that Alexander isn't going to try and win the game, but on this game where it's either 20-0 one way or 20-0 the other way. But what you can do is you can say, I'm going to win on battle tactics, because guess what, Khorne? My battle tactics are just cast spells.
Super easy.
Easy. My grand strategy is just have some spells. Right? So I think we might see a stalemate here. Now, that's not definite. We'll see who sends it, and Dan might be right. It might be a tempo change.
Rob, I'm saying I think we're going to see a big push late game tempo in turn 4 or 5, and they're going to go for it. I mean, look, this sigil, right? This Khorne endless prayer, I guess, put in there is going to be really aggressive, and it's clearly saying, I'm coming here. This is where we're going.
Yes, I agree. So pretty great match, but we're gonna continue to look at these matches. So we'll see what happens after this game on table 3, and we'll jump through to our tables to actually start seeing deployment. So we've got a Vorsarg force. So we should be into the first turn also on table 1. It does look like, because I have seen a prime come on the board. So we're on Kharadron Overlords, got turn 1. That does mean that the Fire Slayers gave the first turn to the Kharadron Overlords, which was nice. So Fire Slayers just wanted to see where the Kharadron Overlords tried to put their army. The Fire Slayers are able to strike a rune to go, not rune in the enemy team.
No, that would actually be a red card if you were to do that.
He's not going to actually strike rune the person, but they strike a rune. Rune's a great name, actually. I really like it.
Awesome name.
They strike a rune. And look at that, pink candy floss Kharadron Overlords, which is pretty cool. And they have dropped a frigate in that bottom left-hand corner. Thanks for that, John. Appreciate it. And they're targeting this smaller unit of 10 Fire Slayers. They've dropped the Prime as well, and they've brought all their Arkanauts in this top left-hand corner. In that top left-hand corner near the Prime. So it does look like what they're going to be trying to do is whittle down a flank. If we go to the top down, looks like they're going to try and cut this part of the board off. And then wait for these units, because you can see a large disposition of the Fire Slayer forces is here. But there are some Fire Slayer units, if I'm not mistaken, off board. Just going to wait to see if that's true. Just get an update from my table boss. But there should be, because I don't see our big brick of 30 anywhere on the board.
They're probably in a magma tunnel somewhere ready to burst forward. Now, I think this is a really, really good move. Giving away this first turn was massively key. Now, because this Fire Slayer army knows a double turn. So if the priority into turn 2, if he took the turn, got the board presence, if the priority into turn 2 went to the Kharadron Overlords, he would be taking 2 turns back-to-back of heavy shooting, and his army probably would struggle to stand up to that. As it is, he's forced Sven to think about the fact that if the Fire Slayers instead get the bottom of turn 1 and the top of turn 2, they will cut his boats out of the sky before his shooters can be brought to bear.
Okay. I agree. There's definitely a lot of excising that can be done here. This is a resource management game in many ways against KO all the time, especially when you can't necessarily threaten in the first turn. We've also seen the Kharadron Overlords brought out the Celestin Prime. So this is Stormcaster Torno's character carrying the Hammer of Gal Maraz. But importantly, he's a really cool tech piece because he does AoE mortal wounds at 24 inches and has a great charge range, because he can auto guarantee a charge, and that auto guarantee of a charge means that he can get into places where his opponent isn't necessarily expecting. He's also got pretty good armor save and a ward save. Not sure he can fight 30 Volkite Berserkers or 15 Hearthguard Berserkers and survive. But he definitely can engage with some heavy hitters. But he's come down on the first turn, so he's definitely going to be used for his mobility to cap objectives, allowing the KO to move around and shoot more. So that's quite fun to see. So we'll join this game again after we see, as you can see, we see more shooting going to the middle here from the Kharadron Overlords. I would expect this unit of Fire Slayers in the middle to die, Fire Slayers to go second, and we'll see if they do the deep strike. You can see the character here zoning out the board. We have another unit of 3 zoning out the board, so the whole purpose here is to create, we have another unit here as well. Another unit is to create a bunker here with a prime even at the front, to make sure that if there are any deep strikes, they're not going to hit those 15 Thunderers, which is going to be key. And if they go up into the top, they're away from all the objectives.
Yeah.
This is what we call, ladies and gentlemen, bait. Yeah. Top right hand corner, go in, charge that. That's fine. I'm going to lift my frigate over. You're stuck in this corner for the rest of the game. Not the rest of the game. They'll eventually run. But there we go. Yeah. So that's table 1. Table 2, we've got Casper against William Skaven. We've started to see the disposition of the Skaven force. Casper, we just find out BC Chaos got the choice to go first here. They haven't deployed anything other than Be'lakor and the Gore in the right hand side. But Casper took a timeout before he made the choice, and he has made the choice to go first. Dan, I'm going to show you, I think, we'll see how this goes. But one of the things that's very possible for a Beast of Chaos army to do, we've seen them play a very specific way, but they very much have they have the opportunity to play very aggro turn 1. Yeah. Especially with Be'lakor. So Be'lakor, and Be'lakor's a really nice alpha turn 1 play. Yeah. Because what we do is we can have the units of Bulgors charge down, wipe out a unit, and then when you're worried about either Thankwall or the Verminal Warbringer getting back into the fight and attacking your Bulgor, Be'lakor that unit, which shuts that unit down. Yeah. Go into a priority roll. You're worried they're going to get the double. You're worried they're going to get the double. They've shut them down again. Yep. So you've got the alpha strike, you've got the double shutdown, and now it's definitely your turn too. Yeah. So they've wasted 2 turns already down on resources. Yeah. So it's quite fun. We might not see much go down, but we'll see. Because that's probably why he took the timeout. He probably would have said to his coach, I can just go for it. I've got the full send here very early. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think? Right? And that's real tough because you can control the pace a little bit with this Beast of Chaos force, and we haven't had it. So excited to see how this match goes out. The other thing that'll let him do is we've got these 3 Gnaw holes here, which are magical holes in the ground. They're tunnels that the Skaven can use to jump between to secure elements of the board. Now, you notice these 2 are right next to those objectives, meaning he's going to really want to use them to play for the objectives. However, if there is an enemy model within range, then those can't be used. You can't use them as a tunnel because you have to be, when you come up, 9 inches away from enemy models. So bringing on even a couple of small units of 10 Ungor Raiders when they do come from the board edge here is going to absolutely shut down the movement and the versatility of this Skaven army gets to the objectives. It stops this Skaven army moving into the mid-board at all. Yeah. The only thing that he can do it now is with Thankwall and the Endless Spell, which helps him teleport. I would say it's a really nice first turn play because after that there's no aggression into the mid-board. Yeah. Everything has to move. He does have some shooting. He's obviously got this Warp Lightning Cannon, but he's probably going to try and take out the other Warp Lightning Cannon now. What we're most likely seeing is shooting from off-board from the Ungor Raiders right now. Yep. And those are going to be looking to whittle that screen that you can see here, so the deep striking unit can go in and fight it. That's the idea. So I think the idea is going aggressive, but it might be like Dan says, just to pick up some easy points, reduce some resources, screen the board, and then make it much more challenging for William to move out. Force the Skaven to walk across the board. Don't let them teleport. But also unpack their own castle. Yeah. When they unpack their castle, there's always going to be a bull at the gates. There's always going to be a bull at the gates. And Rob, let's remember, if there's one thing the Swedes are going to be very good at, it's unpacking, given their history with IKEA. Exactly. Yeah, they're going to be excellent at unpacking here, but can they rebuild it, or will it be like all IKEA furniture? Flimsy and confusing. Flimsy and confusing. So we're just going back to table 4. So we've just done table 3. This is our other positions over power match. We can finally see Michael Twan for Team Sweden with his Slaves to Darkness force against Runeholz with his Ymetrica Lumineth Realm Lords. You can see Rune now has deployed. I'd love to get a shot, John, when you can, of the board state on the right hand side, because it does look really fun. Yeah. Okay, so what have we got? We've got a unit of
So we've got these 2 units of Venari Wardens here at the front, clearly. The defensive screen.
That's an exciting Techless conversion.
Yeah. I like that. Less is more when it comes to an elf. Look, and as I've said multiple times, the only thing better than a dwarf is a dead elf, so I can't wait to see some of them chopped up. These Dawn Riders here are incredibly fast and quite versatile particularly into those small units of cultists that are the Ravagers that the Slaves to Darkness have. Techless here, obviously a big magical powerhouse of an elf, really, really strong spell casting, but look what we have in the back here, Rob. We've got this mountain cow, this big beastie mountain cow that is absolutely going to want to wreck face with those hammers. The question is going to be, will it get the opportunity into the Slaves of Darkness? Now, Rob, the last 2 times we have seen Archaon, the Lord of the End Times, the host of the Everchosen, the slayer of the world that was, killed an entire world with many, many years of history and upset nerds everywhere. The last 2 times we've seen him on screen, he died to ghosts and he died to a swamp caller shaman's stab grot.
He did, yeah, that's a good point. He did. He did get a kick in. This is a very different experience though, because he's in a really good position, I think, here. He's got a lot of Splintered Fang. 80 Splintered Fang is absolutely bonkers.
Massive.
Each 20 block is going to do 60 attacks, which is pretty good, and he can do Fight on Death. So I'd be interested to see if he decides to trade early or just score some battle tactics. Techless has got some of the easier battle tactics. Don't forget, Rune picked up that amazing win against Yorin yesterday, so I'm not betting against Rune either. I'm sure he's got a plan going into this. Also, Rune was involved in the pairings, so he will have known what he's done. Maybe he's busted himself, but what we're seeing some battle tactics being done. And interestingly, if we just go back to table 3 right now, you can see what the Khorne army decided to do. The Khorne army decided to push a few of their units up the board. They're still screening at the top here, and they're still screening down here. But we did hear that Tzeentch won the priority going into turn 2 and have given it to Khorne. What they're effectively saying is, just send your lads this way.
Bring the boys.
And Khorne are trying to just score more battle tactics. But if you look, they haven't committed this Bloodthirster in any way, shape, or form. Not trying to. They've got some screens here. This is in case a unit tries to teleport or move very fast and do some summoning around here. So they're not letting any of those happen, so that the units can move into the backboard to go for a cheeky win. He's also got that monster capping that objective, so that's just an additional 5 points. So given that turn away, shows me that Tzeentch might push aggressively in turn 2, but I'm not necessarily certain that that's the case. So we'll see. So and that's already turn 2 over for Khorne. We're now into Tzeentch turn 2. So now we're now nearly into turn 3.
Rob, every time we see this game, it's basically guns at high noon. Both armies slowly pushing their units forward, and then that whip crack happens on turn 3, and all hell breaks loose, and they slam into each other with the fury of a hurricane. We saw it with the Gits versus Fire Slayers, with a really cunning play by Noah Singh from Team USA to sneak around the back and jump onto the objective. Who else did we see it with?
They slammed into each other on the first.
They did. And then it was a grind.
I'm not sure either of these two players are ever going to push into the middle. Obviously, Khorne have, but I mean, with actual forces they care about. This will just be Karnak's Reavers, or whatever they're called.
And it'll only be horrors that go in for the Tzeentch that are going to tie them up.
So and then it's going to be an interesting mid-game. But then that does mean Kairos can move here. So that's our table 3. Just wanted to let you know that they are racing through the turns because it's a stalemate. Table 4. Oh, Dan, we have seen Archaon move into the mid-board for the first turn for Slaves to Darkness. So we have seen Archaon aggress onto that middle. I don't know if we'll see a screening unit of Splintered Fang in there, but we'll see.
Now, Rob, remember, Archaon does have the Eye of Ed Sheeran, meaning that once per game he can look into the future, and that player can absolutely know who is going to get priority into the next turn. Now, you'd probably save that for turns 3 or 4 when you really want to be progressing onto objectives 2 and 3 to win the match. But it means you can use him quite aggressively, knowing that you're going to get a double turn, or not commit him if you know your opponent's going to get a turn back.
That's true. That is going to be an interesting factor in this game. game. Right, okay, so we're just moving on to table number 5 now, and we can see Ronya with her Jaws of Mork. Now, she's taking the first turn in this match, and we can see how that Sineshi force is put together. So we have that unit of Slickblade Seekers at the back right-hand corner there, and then we have the unit of Blissbarb Archers on the far left. Blissbarb Seekers on the far top left. That little panel here. We have another unit of Slickblades at the front. We have another unit of Slickblades here. I'm pretty certain there was 3 units of Slickblades.
Yes, there was. One unit of 10, 2 units of 5.
Perfect. So they're there, and then we got our Blissbarb block in the middle. So no big characters for this army.
Yep.
We just got the Contorted Epitome, you can see here. So that he's giving that +1 to wound out. Instead, all the points being spent on Blissbarb and Slickblades. Some would say it's an incredibly thin roster. As a book, who can tell? I haven't seen many Painbringers, Dan.
No,
this event.
Or Slangor. Now, let's remember that the hosts of Slaanesh, the Hedonites, they work by a pain battery, which is known as depravity points. And once those points get high enough, they get an incredible amount of buffs that power up their army. And when it's all through to the top, they get that key piece that they're all looking for, which is a 5+ ward save army-wide. And
they like being paired into gits.
They love being paired into gits.
All of the coaches think that you should be pairing them into gits, and that's because they're big depravity balloons.
Yeah, they
depravity pinatas.
Depravity pinatas. And we have seen that on most games. If they go into a unit of squigs, they pump up that depravity turn 1. And if they can get that up, it makes them incredibly durable on the slapback.
So, and if you look at the top of the board there, thanks, John, for that shot, that's our unit of Boingrot Bounders. And that unit of Boingrot Bounders is pretty fighty and can kill a lot of stuff, but he's going to eat an Overwatch. Now, there's some important stuff. Important stuff to note here. That Slaanesh has got the ability, because it's in Pretender's subfaction, to do a triple stand and shoot.
Wow.
Now, you still have to remember, it still has to be models within 6 inches.
Yeah.
And what that means is any archer units that you charge or shooting units that you charge can basically shoot as you charge in. And so we might see that happen in this match.
Funnily enough, Rob, there are 3 units of Blissbarb Archers in it. So that means that on that Unleash Hell, on that stand and shoot, all 3 of those units can be bringing the hurt.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. Right, so is Ronya going to bring out the damage? Doesn't look like she's doing that. It looks like a 9-inch measure stick here. So it looks like she's not even threatening. She might be trying to produce a big redeploy. She might be trying to bait in all the charges and bring them out.
Yeah.
Don't forget these Boingrots here, and then the Squig Herd here to go in. So interesting to see her play. Don't forget, Ronya's 20-0 at this event. Mouth's very good player, so it'll be very exciting to see. Ronya already 3 points on the board. I'm not sure what the Slaanesh force is going to do here to unpack the army.
Yeah.
Chat, let me know what you think.
But Ronya we've heard 2 rounds in this team's event. Ronya has been up against the wall. She got double turned by KO. I was chatting to her last night. She was saying that there have been a couple of games where she's definitely felt like she was on the ropes. But what she has shown time and time again that she's incredible at is playing out of a corner. So even though all of her squigs are depravity balloons, even though that very much plays into how Slaanesh want to play this game, I think that if there's one army that Ronya is going to be really looking to have practiced against, it's this one.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I agree. This is literally the point. This is why you get paired into this matchup. So right, jump into table 6. We've got Jonas for Team Sweden with his Slaanesh Pretenders army, and then we have Morton with his Knights of the Empty Throne, Slaves to Darkness army. Morton has already had his first turn, so Morton has already had the first turn in this game, and he chose the first turn as well. He chose the first... How did he die? He chose the first turn. And then we've got Jonas with his Pretenders army now working out what he wants to do on this battle plan, which, of course, is Nidus Paths. So he's going to have to... He can potentially teleport some stuff, although this back part of the board is screened out. And so we've got to work out exactly what we're seeing here, what he's going to do. Because he's got lots of archers.
Yeah.
He's got lots of units to try and fight, but there's too much armor there.
I was about to say, they're not going to be able to punch holes. Now, Rob, we've just been handed a note from the Swedish coach about Ronja, saying that Ronja has been paired into what they call a red matchup, meaning a bad matchup, every round this event, and she's smashed it. So nothing can stop her.
Yeah, so if we just go back to this game again, Mouth and Ronja, so this is what we've got. What in the pairings matchup, because there's a pairings process before the teams start to play, an incredibly boring, an incredibly meticulous, an incredibly pointless process that is really useless to talk about and watch, so we don't do it. But Ronja is predicted to not get many points out of this match. That's what red matchup is. But if she picks up, so for Denmark are like, you should get to Mouth, you should get points out of this matchup. Yeah. So quite interesting to see how that works out. Anyway, table 6, just. We did have a unit.
We had the Mask of Slanesh, which is a dancing demonette that tricks its opponents into joining in a dance, having a little bit of a party with them.
So it does a deep strike. So it can deploy 3 inches away.
Yeah.
The mask, which is important. So the mask is deployed 3 inches away from this Slaves to Darkness force. That's what forced the Slaves to Darkness to take the first turn, so they could clear it off the board, and therefore meant that they were kind of down in the order of operations. They probably would have wanted to give the first turn away, because now the Empty Throne can run and charge. So I wonder why we saw such a conservative first turn from Slaves to Darkness, but it's because of that mask play being done by Morton. So you love to see it, making it so that Slaves to Darkness had to take the first turn. Yeah. That's very exciting.
Really keeping them in their box for a turn when they want to be bringing these 3 hammer units, the 2 units of Varangard and the units of Knights. They want to get them out. They want to bring them to bear. And when you can't...
This is a great matchup, Dan. For Morton, and also for Denmark. Denmark are going to be super happy about this. I really don't see that there's any punch in the Slash force that could go through these units. We'll see. That's what's exciting about Warhammer. Yep. It's not all guaranteed. Now we've got Casper Agdal running Jaws of Mork, Gloomspike Gitz, and he's deployed in the top left-hand side of the board there. You can see all of the orange squigs deployed. And then he's against Jesper Malenda with his Legion of Knights, Soulblight Gravelords. Don't forget, it's the old Soulblight Gravelords. We're probably still deploying here. Neither of the two players, we're going to get this updated. That does look like it's 9 inches away, though, so not 100% certain that we haven't gone into the first move. Well, you can ask Jesper. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, to get in there.
Just ask him.
Just ask him.
Yeah, he'll be fine with it, because it does look like they've taken the first turn. Or in fact, actually, the Gits on this table got to choose. So I think the Gloomspike Gits have given the first turn away to the Soulblight Gravelords here. And then we're going to see all of these Gits get in the party.
Yeah. It's going to be a big slap. It's going to be a big slap back from the Gits. So I think what we're going to see is Soulblight trying to get into a really strong position. Now remember, the issue with this battle plan is that these objectives along this line here can turn on and off at will, meaning that if you do actually have some benefit to getting in there in the first turn and scoring up, because there's a good chance that they will then turn off, leaving your opponent high and dry and unable to score any objectives themselves.
Exactly.
Now, key, the objectives only turn off if they have already been controlled. They don't just randomly turn off if they're uncontrolled. So it's a really, really important play to get those points on the board and then potentially deny them to your opponent.
Yeah. It's going to be really... Oh, big turn, though. Hello. Now, that is the man himself. The man who ended the world that was.
Yeah.
For all of the Night Days players watching, and I'm assuming the Warhammer Fantasy Battle players watching as well, it is all because of that man right there. There he is.
And Manfred did nothing wrong, in my opinion.
Manfred von Karstein. Now, what Manfred has got in the old Soulblight Gravelords book is when he activates in combat, he gets to basically teleport away.
Yeah.
And so what you're going to see him do here is you're going to see him charge in, fight this unit, I think, and clear them off the board. And I think this is one of those key plays that I've seen be very effective across playing against Soulblight Gravelords. Across playing against Gits is just take out the little 5-man unit.
Yeah.
Take out a 5-man unit here, take out a 5-man unit here. You are definitely going to have to deal with the big units at some point, but just make it so they've got less board presence, less screens.
Absolutely.
Committing Manfred to do that's a pretty big one.
He's a big loss if he goes down in return.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's a big loss to go in return. But
however, Rob, this Gits army doesn't have Greencrack the Great, which we have seen in almost every other Gits list, and his ability lets the squigs fight when they die. So him not being there means that if you kill a squig, it doesn't take a bite out of you when it goes down, which maybe is why he's a little bit more confident in putting Manfred out there, because he knows that even if he does get those kills, he's not going to have a squig attached to his nethers that takes a big chomp.
Yeah, agreed. So it'll be quite interesting to see what he does do with this. Jesper, though, moving up pretty aggressively, doing a Desecrate. I think he doesn't really have any options. I think, don't forget, this is twist and turn, so just grabbing all the objectives I think is a good play. We could do the Matt Goldsborough play, which just completely wipe out the enemy army. Yeah. That's another strategy as well.
Yeah, that works.
That's another strategy, but right now, we're still in the off, and we've got two armies. There you go, you can see all the point grots.
They've been lifted.
Yeah, like a cautionary, like, I'll just roll some saves to see, but they're gone.
There are times when you know the dice are only going to go one way.
Yeah. I mean, I really respect someone who's got 2 wounds left, you got 2 6-up ward saves and 20 dice to roll, and they go...
Rolls them.
They're like, I'll roll it anyway, just in case.
For that 1 in a million shot that just breaks the heart of everybody.
It's beyond
watching.
a million, Dan.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it's beyond a million.
Well, I'm bad at math, Rob. I'm bad at math.
I think it's very high. So they're gone. And now we're rolling to see objectives on and off. Honestly,
the
let's never talk about
ridiculous part of this battle plan.
So then we've got Christopher with his Naru army. Now, Christopher for Team Denmark, I actually don't know if anyone can get me the info on this, or maybe we've got Christopher. I want to know what Christopher's win rate is with his Sylvaneth army, because Sylvaneth is the army I think that should have been in teams.
Yeah, you've said that. Yeah.
Instead of maybe some of the Slaanesh armies, but I haven't looked at the Slaanesh win rate yet across the event. I'd like to see it.
We saw yesterday on stream that Sylvaneth Durthu Whipcrack just jumping forward, chopping a hole, whipping back into the safety of the bunker, and I think that's what we're going to see here as well.
What you're looking at there is Warhammer Genius in play.
That man...
Christopher is on it.
That man's a logger. He knows how to deal with wood, and he is absolutely ready to bring it here.
Christopher's picked up this army, Dan, 2 months ago.
You're kidding.
And he's on a 100% win rate.
My God.
The reason there aren't Sylvaneth lists in some teams is because you have to be very good.
Really good.
Really good. And so, so what we're seeing, we've got Daughters of Cain, they've got the first turn. That first turn was given away by Sylvaneth.
Yeah.
Sylvaneth gave the first turn away.
We've seen the bow snakes are held in reserve here. They really don't want to commit them. That's the damage output in this army. So if they move them forward, we would have seen that Whipcrack Durthu potentially. We've seen a screen pushed up here, and it looks like a Cauldron of Blood here, and then this other one up the top. And we've seen Marathi down here, the big snake lady herself. However, in return, we've got the trees set up here, meaning that the Sylvaneth are saying this is where we're going to start jumping out and performing those guerrilla strikes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Roof shot.
We are going to see these. I think that's the end of the Daughters of Cain first. No, it's not. Daughters of Cain have deployed here. They're going to try and be aggressive. I'm not really sure. I think what this is meant to do is meant to shut down any trees that can be deployed.
Potentially, yeah.
And then stop some teleports in here as well. Is that Lariel?
I think that's a Lariel.
Now, what's in this list again? Did you have the list?
Yeah, Rob, let me get it. Because I think this is going to really excite you / hurt you slightly. So this list, Nalroot the Dwindling, Alariel the Everqueen, Spirit of Durthu, Warsong Revenant, Battle Mage. 10 Dryads, 5 Tree Revenants, and of course, the Spite Swarm Hive.
Oh, this isn't going to hurt me. This is absolutely wicked. So Alariel's got so Dan, it was you. Oh no, I was talking to someone at lunch yesterday. One of the problems that you have with atypical Sylvaneth builds is you have to put a tree down. So now I have to either cast a spell or bring a Tree Lord Ancient. So I'm 300 points down for utility. Cool. Yeah. Then I have to bring a Battle Mage. So now I'm another 100 points down for utility. Cool. And then I have to take the Spite Swarm Hive, which is more utility.
Yep.
Also cool. Yeah. But what if I just move 16 inches?
totally avoid it. And you know what's even better than moving 16 inches, Rob? Moving 16 inches, knowing that you get a free summon and that you come back from the dead.
Yeah, but also you get strike and fade, right? So Alarielle can just keep, very much like we saw Durthu, but you don't have to go through any steps. So charge across the board, fight, wipe out this unit. We've just seen that happen there. Yeah, then... well, we haven't seen that happen there, but we will see it.
Absolutely.
So we'll see it fight and then wipe out. And so then you just keep losing pieces. And if you want to, you can put Durthu in. Yeah, not that was the right call, but then Alarielle over, wipe a unit out. So you can do that twice. Yeah, although one unit can't retreat. But it's okay keeping Alarielle in the place where you want her to be, and then keeping Durthu in the retreat. You get some options, which I think is really nice. Christopher is 3 wins and 1 draw at the tournament. He played 9 turns without Durthu yesterday versus France and still got a draw.
Wow.
Great shout. I really appreciate I really appreciate the updates. Thank you. How good, Mensha. Okay, so Daughters of Cain got 4 points on that first turn, and now it's Sylvaneth turn 1. I wouldn't be surprised, Dan. I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe this unit and this unit picked up early. Because what Daughters of Cain, this is a great matchup. This is a great matchup for Sylvaneth. Daughters of Cain are so light on resources. Because what they're meant to do is put these 15 and this lady together in one place and just smash a bunker. That's their job.
That's the drawing, is the technical plan that they probably wrote out before they got here.
They do not have any resources to keep fighting over objectives. They don't have enough trade. They don't have the survivability for trade. And Rob, is great.
You know what else they were definitely hoping would happen? By placing these 2 units here, they were scoring these objectives and hoping that they would turn off between turns and deny the Sylvaneth the points. Instead, the only one to turn off is the top. Now, yes, that hurts them because it means that anything coming out of this Wildwood isn't scoring points, but both of these objectives are worth a lot to the Sylvaneth because they can not only clear a couple of screens, they can score the points too.
Yeah, this is a great matchup for Christopher.
Oh yeah, he's got to be stoked by the bottom of that round.
Yeah, this is a great matchup for Denmark. He's super happy about that. Okay, you love it. Okay, so now we're in. Let's see what Philip with his Vorstag force, and there we can see the deep strike happen, Dan.
Yeah.
We've got it. All the fire slayers are down. They're going to go for the bunker. They're going to hit the double. That's the goal. And they're going to try and hit into this. Fire slayers also won the prio. So they failed the charge here. Interesting. They didn't take the bait in the top right-hand corner.
Clever.
They haven't done that. KO on their first turn just killed a unit of 10. They dropped. Yeah, of course it's a timeout. Yikes.
Yeah, so the players can call a timeout. They get 10 minutes. They can pull their coach over, have a bit of a breather, have a bit of a chat. And Fire Slayers going for the big play, knowing that if they can cut the head off the beast in turn 1, they would get it. But unfortunately, they missed that charge. So he's one priority, and now he's got a big question on his hands. Do I give away the turn and get shot to bits, but not be at risk of a double turn in return, or do I take the turn and allow me to put that pressure where I need it to be to not suffer incredible damage this turn?
Yeah, he's going for it, I think.
He's got to take it.
Importantly, it's all about Galician champions on this mission, so they take priority. So he will have deep struck one here, so that means he's got one on that now. It
looks like there's one here as well.
And there's also a yeet load of Galician champions in here as well, so they can hold the bottom and hold the top. I just need to know what that unit on the left-hand side of the board, please, the left-hand objective, who it is. I'm hoping he's not there. I'm hoping it is a Fire Slayer hero, because that means that Philip has got. Okay, so Philip's got the 3 objectives right now.
Okay. He's really got that board dominance. Now, Rob, the other thing that I did miss in the list matchups at the very start is that this Caradron Overlord's army does have Galician sharpshooters, meaning that they do have a couple of units of shooters that will be able to pick characters out from the mass. However, I think that's not going to be enough in this matchup, because I think the Fire Slayers are going to put too many units into combat too early to allow them to get the positioning.
I mean, we did see yesterday the Fire Slayers end up winning this matchup, and actually quite a few times we've seen Fire Slayers into KO end up taking it just because of the survivability. So I'm not surprised. Sorry, I'm not surprised. Stand in one place. I'm not surprised that we've seen this paired into each other. But I will be interested to see how Philip is able to push into Sven, because Sven has built that nice big screen here.
Yeah.
He's using this piece of terrain as a blocking piece, so that'll be a piece you can't walk over. So that'll be so you can't just go up and down. and then we're going to run around. So it's going to be quite interesting. You can see, we've got another Fire Slayer character, a Kharadron Overlord Slayer character behind.
Yep.
That's a chemist. We got the Admiral here. What a great paint job.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Usually you see...
Go on, Sven.
Usually you see Kharadron Overlords players go with heavy metal, maybe a little bit. They're very, very standard, and they look quite samey. So seeing bright colours in there,
awesome.
I'd love to see it. Give me more.
Shout out to Vlad as well, using the emote "Kill the Heroes." That's absolutely what you want to do. That's why the emote's there.
Also,
kill the heroes, win the mission.
Vlad, we saw earlier a couple of days ago now in the singles. Oh, different Vlad. Different Vlad.
I thought I did that same thing.
Yeah, okay, I still love you, Vlad's Workshop, regardless of whether I know you or not.
Whether or not you're the Vlad.
You're not. You're a Vlad, but that doesn't mean you're not the Vlad of my heart. But that's okay. I can still adore you.
Okay, so there you can see the Fire Slayers and the. Okay, so the Fire Slayers have moved over, and it does look like they're going to try and charge that bunker. Now, don't forget about the Flame Keepers. I need to know where those Flame Keepers are. They're quite interesting because of... I wonder if what the order of activation of this is. So they're able to do I need to look this up.
Yeah, so Flame Keepers, while Rob looks it up, they kind of, like, just like Bon Jovi, they keep the faith of the Fire Slayers army. There's another deep cut reference that we throw into the chat. I'd love it if people would tell me if they understood it or not, or whether we
striking realization of our age yesterday.
That was really... But you know what, Rob? No,
you did really well with that. I'm very sorry.
The chat backed me up. They had my back. No one was saying, what's that? Everyone was saying Blue Steel Magnum and Le Tigre were their life.
So Dan, I've worked it out.
Yeah, okay, go for it.
So pretty interesting stuff. So the Flame Keepers are able to activate their ability at the start of the combat phase.
Right,
okay. This is quite cool. So if you charge in a unit and then they suffer some wounds from Overwatch, from standard shoot, to unleash hell from the shooting, which you obviously are going to do.
Yeah.
Because there's some pretty prodigious output coming from 15 Thunderers.
Yeah.
That means that you can tick up the Flame Keeper count and then charge again.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Wow, okay.
With another unit in the combat phase and then Overwatch.
Huge.
But like, I don't think that's overly going to be relevant here, but it's actually a pretty fun little mechanic for standard shoot. But I guess you've already eaten the standard shoot. Yeah, doesn't matter.
But it might let you get other units around into better positions,
especially on a failed charge.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's loads in that. We'll see what Fire Slayers do here. Fire Slayers have to close this section of the board down. This is going to be an issue, obviously, as well as. Okay, so one of which guys?
The Flame Keepers. So one Flame Keeper dead, one Flame Keeper still alive. That's a bit of a snake, a bit of a loss, but they'll be okay.
Well, the army is literally built around those Flame Keepers. And it's this unit of 30 that are meant to die to buff up the unit of... I'm hoping this is unit of 15 Hearthguard Berserkers at the back. So that's the other power piece. You've got this 30, which they're not ablative wounds. They're definitely also their own threat, especially if you use a Flame Keeper to give them damage too. Anyway, table 2, we're going to jump back. Same battle plan. Grecian champions do control it. Please use the Kill the Heroes emote in the chat.
And Rob, look, just as predicted, we have seen this unit here. So how we got there? We had the Skaven build this little box of furry rat hate.
Beast of Chaos got the choice.
Beast of Chaos got the choice and took turn 1. Remarkable. We have very, very rarely have we actually seen that, but it was a huge play for them. They've brought units in. We had this screening unit of Ungor up here come forward, tag this, score this objective, and shut down this Gnawhole. It looks like we've had this other unit of Bulgor come in here and turning off this Gnawhole, stepping a teeny tiny little hoof toe onto the objective to score it. Obviously useful, but the big thing here is look at what has been cleared off this element of the board. A huge chunk missing from the Skaven force.
Yeah, really good. Maybe we get a shot at those Bulgor. That'd be good to see. That'd be decent. But yeah, those. They killed the warp. They killed the warp lightning cannon for the battle tactic.
And it looks like they've just about chopped up a screen as well.
Oh yeah, they've murdered a bunch of boys. Those also look like Clay Beast Creation Bulgor as well, which is cool. So there's 3D printed Bulgor. So lovely to see. So Dan, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear about Be'lakor using the ability now. But actually, it really depends on the threat range of some of this stuff. There's only one unit of 6 off the board at the moment. One unit of 6 on. Yes, the Danish player was on the single stream, exactly. So this is Casper. So I do wonder if if Casper has used Be'lakor into William Skaven for Team Sweden, because if he has, that's going to... I love how the board is rotated 45 degrees.
We're just slowly twisting our way down one of these gnaw holes. Look, what we have seen cast, that does look like the Bringy Dingy. That looks like the launcher on the Soul Seeker, who is a ghostly skeletal boatman who can ferry a unit, one model rather, around. And in this army, that's absolutely going to be Thankwall.
In this, it's just a screaming bell upside down.
Yeah, it's very...
Oh no, that's a replacement bell. Oh, that's fun. That's like
great. Yeah,
that's like
cool.
Using a spare piece so you can move stuff around.
That's great.
And it's really easy to pick up. That's
awesome.
very clever. That's fun. Love that.
So,
so it's a spell that lets you move characters around, and probably will be Thankwall.
There he is. So Thankwall is a grey seer, which means he's a rat who grew big horns out of his head.
Because he's the guy on top of the big rat.
Yeah. So he's the little wizard that could. He's addicted to warpstone, crystalline magic, and he's quite a character himself. But he's not here. Like, we don't actually care about him. We care about Bone Ripper the 13th underneath him. His 13th monstrous creation. With 4 flamethrowers for arms, and those flamethrowers do incredible work. They do a lot of mortal wounds, meaning they just take models off the board with very little chance to survive it. However, he wants to be putting that into a much bigger threat than his weedy little unit of Ungor Raiders, so he's probably going to be a little bit disappointed he couldn't bring it to bear, and if the priority roll doesn't go his way and there aren't some great screens around him, he could be copping a ton of Bulgor to the face.
Yeah, I think the goal is to make Thankwall come out of his little castle there and then go after him in a moment. Casper has definitely taken the turn to... Yes, the Be'lakor version of Beast of Chaos, which is what we haven't seen very much.
Yeah.
We have seen it a couple of times, but in my opinion, it's more potent because it gives you a first turn push.
Absolutely.
Versus... and it also gives you a trade up from two hammers to 3 versus which as we saw yesterday against the Varangard, not that the hammer worked, but we saw against the Varangard where you saw a 2 for 3 trade never work because you're always a piece down.
Yeah.
So that's pretty rough. You can also charge all 4 flamers. Yeah. So I think our table bosses might be trying to sort out our camera, or there's an earthquake and we can't feel it.
Possibly the earthquake.
Localized, I'm not sure.
Maybe the intensity of this game is just shaking the table underneath it.
So we're going to jump over to table 3 and see what happened. Okay, so don't forget, the turn got given away on table 3 by Tzeentch into turn 2.
Wow.
And it looks like Corner's done the big send.
They did. They absolutely did.
But they're still screening the board, though, Dan. The Skull Crushers down here, Skull Crushers at the top, still holding their home objective. They haven't committed overly heavily.
They've got a screen at the back here as well, making sure nothing's coming in behind them.
Yeah, that's true. It's because of that big summoning. In the Tzeentch force belonging to Denmark, I wonder... Yeah. I'm just trying to see... So Corner scored 0 battle tactics and Tzeentch has scored 2, and that's what's really changing the tempo of this match. He's going to have to push forward. As we see, a second Lord of Change has also been summoned
already
because it's Guild of Summoners, which is really fun. It's nice to see a sub-faction that wasn't seeing a lot of play a couple of years ago, seeing some play now. That narrative idea of I'm just going to summon loads of Lords of Change actually making being really impactful, which is quite fun.
I mean, look, remember the whole thing about Tzeentch in a mortal area is that they trick foolish mortals into summoning demons that then claim their souls, and that's exactly what this list does. Now, having a look here, look at this. We've seen, not only have we seen this full kind of push here from Khorne, really saying to Tzeentch, you have a lot to work through if you want to take that central objective. If we go to the top down for a second, look at the sling. We had this Bloodthirster here who's done a massive jump across, expressing that power, and really putting Tzeentch on play, because if he can get into the back area there and start putting some pressure onto those
Lords
he does
AoE damage.
That's
he does AoE damage. Yeah. You have to do... You do AoE damage. Yeah, and I told you that was the plan from the start. Tzeentch are always going to win on tactics, and they're going to win on the grand strat. So Khorne has to fight this, and then Tzeentch don't have to fight this, which is pretty amazing. Because, like I told you, you're this close to being the world team champions. you're not being like, hey, should I send him? Like, you idiot. Just get some battle tactics, grand strategy, and make him just beat himself against your brick wall of 10 pink horrors.
Him out, yeah. But the question will be, with this Khorne Force, obviously they're great at resisting magic, and that's where the Gilded Summoners are going to want to be doing their damage. If he can shut down the magic, he's going to be able to keep it alive. Like we said, this Bloodthirster does area of effect damage. He does splash damage to units around him, and if he can get maybe into one of these front screens, he can potentially be passing wounds back onto the birds behind.
Honestly, getting the win off rolling like 4 6s is ludicrous, but possible.
Yeah, we heard it happen in a game already. We had a Bloodthirster, I believe it was this Boomthirster, absolutely cleared a table quarter solo. But
I don't think we've seen the charge yet. I think we've just seen the movement. So if I could get an update to know whether or not we have had a charge, we're in the charge phase. I just want to know if that Bloodthirster at least makes the charge.
Yeah.
It looks like it's not currently set up to go for the charge.
Yeah.
So we'll see what it does. So yes. Is in combat with Brimstones already, is he?
Oh my god, oh yeah, look, we can see just a small unit of Brims here holding it back. Looks like they tag all the way along the front there as well. Okay, pretty interesting. And we got those 2 units of Templar Warriors at the back of the board. You love to see it. Well, we got a Wrathax here going ham as well. We got the Icon there too. Okay, lots of units on the board there. There's the Wrathax, thanks John. There's Scar Bloodwrath as well. Scar Bloodwrath actually legitimately quite good into horrors. That's just a screening unit of horrors is what we're seeing. Yeah. Are they in horrors? Is a Boomthirster into horrors? Yeah, it looks like it. He's tagged. There's a little Brims. Green. Yeah. The little Brims. Okay, they're green. Okay, yeah, so interesting. Very interesting. Let's jump over to table number 4. Let's see what's the Safe Darkness. Safe Darkness have done the full send. Wow. So they've done the full send into turn 2. They got the priority into turn 2 at the top of the round. So I think that they know that they now a question is whether or not he's used the Eye of Ed Sheeran. Yeah, that needs to be the follow-up question. And the reason I asked that, which is whether or not Safe Darkness know if they've got the next turn. Yeah. If they do know if they've got the next turn, then he's going to be like, well, I'm only going to take 1 turn of output from the Lumineth Force, and then I'm going to get to hit you again. I would have if he knew that, then maybe he would have brought more Splintered Fang in. Yeah. Or maybe this is going to be wave 2. I think he's going to hold them back. I think Archaon is potentially a big distraction and a big pinning piece. He's going to force this Lumineth Force to spend an entire turn dealing with him while he sits there and slows them down, holds them off the objective, and then we'll see these secondary units coming in to put pressure on. But he has spread them all across the board, meaning that it's going to be really hard. Okay, so we don't think he's used it. Oh, okay, so no Eye of Ed Sheeran, meaning that Archaon isn't a new man yet. He doesn't know what's going to go on. I mean, I would probably do this anyway. Absolutely. I'd put this in. You have to put the pressure in. The Cathalar's there. Take out all these units if you can. The Alarith Mountain, Stone Mountain is going to come over and is going to try and fight. He's great in a fight. Yep. He definitely can take him out. But if we find out if Archaon's got Mystic Shield on, and if he finest hours, and then if he all-out defenses, he's going to be on a 2-up armor save, ignoring Ren 2. That's pretty decent. And Rob, remember, he can put the mountain in the sword. He can put the mountain in the sword as well, so it's risky. It's risky on return as well. So, I think this is the right play. Yeah. Okay. It's a very bad mission to use the eye. This is what Lillan, the Swedish captain, said. Okay. Because either of the 2 players could know what's happening. Oh, of course. Yeah. I guess you don't want your opponent to know what's going to happen either. I mean, the other trick is, obviously, if you want to, you can double move Teclis so he can go and grab objectives. Yeah. Across the board. There is a Mystic Shield on Archaon as well. This puts him in a great position. Yeah. He's just going to be here fighting, which is going to be fun, and then re-engaging. So he's in a good spot here. This is very different to the Khorne match behind. Very, very different.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, and Arkay on so many points. He's such an important part of this army. I can understand being tempted to keep him back here in the backfield and keep him alive for longer. But the problem is then you're not getting the points out of him. He's not putting pressure on your opponent, and he's not trading for some of those key pieces. Where he is now, if he can take out, and he has a chance, there's 2 units of Venari Wardens, the screens that he's in combat with, and we can see the Light of Eltharion, that chunky, durable combat hero in the back there. If he can clear out those screens, potentially even do some damage, put some pain on that hero, he would be really able to kind of cripple the screens and make it very, very hard on bodies for scoring objectives in the late game.
Yeah. Okay, so that's table number 4. So we're going to jump to table number 5. And here you can see the Gits and yikes is what I'm going to say here, Dan. So this is turn 1 for the Pretenders Force for Slaanesh, belonging to Mouth for Team Denmark, up against Ronja from Team Sweden. And Ronja looks like she's up against it right now. So we need to find out if there's a double turn that's coming from Mouth right now. This is a Slaanesh double turn, so don't forget, Ronja put a unit of Boingrot Bounders on the first turn up here, having been given the turn by Slaanesh in this game. Slaanesh gave her the turn, she put up a unit of Boingrot Bounders. It looks like that unit has been lost at the top.
Interesting to know how much depravity that generated for the Slaanesh force, how full that pain battery is for them. But look, Ronja looks like she is definitely not in the driver's seat at the moment. Oh, look at this unit here, putting pressure on her backfield, on all those characters. Just give us that shot there, Scrivo. They are on 9 depravity, we're hearing, so the battery's not full, the tank's not right up there yet, but this is a rough place for the Gits. We're seeing this double turn. They're going to spread out here. They're going to put pressure here. We have heard Ronja be on the ropes multiple times this tournament, but this is a really tough position for her to be in. Yeah,
this is a super tough matchup, let's be honest, but maybe she, really tough. Okay, yes. But you're still going to need to know the information, so, sucks to suck. Okay, so very, very tough match. Very tough match. And these units are going to go into here. And we're going to see if we can get another unit of Slickblade Seekers in as well, trying to get into the hoppers. All of these support pieces, we got a unit of Boingrots to the bottom right-hand corner. You can see that down there. So that is going to help Ronja out a little bit, but she is going to have to protect a lot of this back line. I am wondering where the unit of Squigherd is as well. I think it must be buried in there right at the back.
I think it is, yeah.
But we have got also the Blissbarb. There's the Squigherd, the Boingrots at the back. We've got a unit support piece, all the support pieces in front of the Loon Shrine, and unfortunately for Ronja, she gave out that first turn, ran up, and then we've got the Blissbarb archers. They're going to move in here. We're going to use the other Blissbarbs in here. They're going to shoot as well. They might not be able to draw line of sight overly well, which is quite interesting. So they might not be able to get a lot of output, but yeah, this is a lot of output about to turn up.
I was about to
from
say,
the Slaanesh force.
Even here, we've got 4 left. That I see this army lacking fight on death is makes this matchup incredibly hard for them, because the death of the Squigs dying don't get the chance to attack back, which really, really makes it hard against that hard hit. And Ronja hasn't had a turn yet where she could recycle and bring back one of those units.
It happens in her turn, which I think is, I think she definitely, what she wanted to do was bring units out of the castle so she could retaliate, and then I think recognizing that, Mouth hasn't actually, I wouldn't say fully sent. I'm actually incredibly impressed that 2 units of 5 Slickblades were able to take out the Boingrot Bounders. That's actually quite a prodigious amount of output. That's 30 wounds on a 4-up armor save, assuming that they didn't do any... actually, they would have reduced the save down thanks to the Blissbarb Seekers. That would have reduced the save down by 1, so that would have made them a little squishier. Then the Rend on the Slickblade Seekers do give them a 6-up save. All-out defense, 5-up save. Still 30 wounds on a 5-up save.
It's
pretty impressive.
But the other thing is, if one of these units is brought up here next to the Loon Shrine, there won't be a recycle, because they need to be able to deploy outside of 9 of enemy units, which is going to shut down the return on those units.
Yeah, outside 3 of the shrine. It's just outside 3.
Oh, outside 3 of the shrine, rather.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. What you could actually do, and what Rania might be doing, legitimately might be doing, and I know we're all going to be like, you're going to be like, Rob, this is a lot of copium, and it might be. Yeah. It might be a lot of copium. I haven't seen Rania play this army yet.
Yeah, that's true.
So what we might be seeing is she's baiting these units in.
Yep.
She's saying, like, okay, get around the shrine. Then she's going to be able to bring her units that recur, like from the recursion out.
Yep.
Strike out, and then on another turn go in. That's a lot. I think that's a lot of copium, though.
Yeah, but Rob, Rania is 20-0 at Worlds. She hasn't dropped a game at Worlds in either singles or teams in 2 years, and that doesn't happen by accident. Though the thing is, they are now going up against Denmark, who are absolutely dominating this competition so far. They've taken out all of the biggest, the top teams. So this is really tough.
Okay, all right. So we're jumping over to table 6, and then we have seen what the Slaanesh force is trying to do. This is a Slaanesh double turn.
Wow.
So we still have this unit of Varangard on the left-hand side. And then we have this unit of Varangard in the middle. But if you look, someone will be Bellacord this turn. Someone will be Bellacord, but we still haven't lost. So it's a unit of Knights, the unit of Varangard, and another unit of Varangard. And they've done little to no damage into this force. They have scored points, though.
And Rob, look at this shot. If we jump over here, look, the position of the Fane of Slaanesh, which is a terrain piece that the Slaanesh player gets to place on the board, right there in the middle. That you can see that glowing disc. That's going to mean now these Varangard, if they come around from the bottom here to try and get in, they actually are going to struggle to bring numbers to bear because we've got an overgrown piece of terrain here, which they're not going to worry about. But we have a garrison here, and then this Fane of Slaanesh, meaning that there's only very small areas that they can bring those knights to bear. I think that's a very cunning play on the Slaanesh player's part. And again, this movement of the unit of Seekers up to the front is going to keep this unit pinned in. It's 2 turns that the Knights of the Empty Throne haven't been able to progress up the board.
So I think what Sweden's job here is Sweden might recognize this as a loss. And so what Jonas's job here is to make sure that he just gets as many points on the board. And the more turns that he can hold units on objectives, you can see here, down here, up here, hold 1, hold 2, hold more, score a battle tactic, you're just closing the gap on the loss. You're just shutting it down. And that feels very positive and makes a lot of sense. So that could be what we're seeing here. We could be seeing just a very slow loss on purpose, which is so different if you're ever watching a singles match where everyone's always going for the win. And so the strategy is quite different because that, again, not even a charge, right? Just scoring points. Just scoring points. And we heard that Bellacor's ability hasn't been used, so that would be Bellacore being used again to shut down another unit again later. Maybe they feel like maybe Jonas for Team Sweden feels like over the course of a single turn, he might be able to get rid of everything in and get rid of a unit of Varangard.
Yes,
that's what he feels like. So this is going to be a very interesting match. Everyone in the chat, let us know who you're rooting for. I know that there's going to be some national teams or some teams from home. Very, very excited. So I really want to know who you're looking forward to seeing play and who you want to win. Let us know. Oh, first time chat, Kinbell, Sweden. There you go. I know. We're getting Bjorn Furborg, Denmark in the chat.
There's a lot of love for both these teams. Stason 78 going there. We've got Sweden's. We've got just people who are cheering for Rania. Not even concerned with the team. Just want Rania somehow to bring that game back.
Okay, so table 4, just jump out really quickly. We do have Archeon on the home objective, like we talked about, and if we, and if you can see, we did talk about this. We've gone in and has been able to kill that front. Well, not even kill it, been able to hurt a little bit of that front screen. That just puts a lot of pressure, into the Technian force, and again, reduces their resources. You just tell us. It's not a guessing game, bud.
We can't see. Look, we've got a unit missing here. the Wardens, we've got the unit of Wardens missing here. It looks like the unit of Wardens concealed under the shadow of Archaon's wings are probably a bit diminished as well. I think I see the Light of Eltharion still alive just underneath there. Not in a happy place by any means. But we do still have the big mountain cow with the big rock hammer and Teclis still in play, and these Venari Dawn Riders. But without a lot of those pieces, we're going to see swarms of these models push up the board, and it's going to be a really strong push late game for Slaves, I think.
I agree. Yeah, reducing it down. Correct. A lot of people asking, aren't these the same countries? Pretty much. Everyone in Europe is. It's basically the same. Right, okay, so table 6, this is our Slanesh match. Table 7, it is the bottom of turn 1. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate you. Kasper Agdal representing Team Denmark up against Jesper Malenda representing Team Sweden with his Soulblight Gravelords.
Yeah.
And we saw Jesper in his first turn push loads of his zombies up the board, and then his other zombies here and some direwolves. But then the big play was Manfred up to the top of the board, taking out a little unit of 5 Boingrot Bounders. And I think now we're getting absolutely everything.
Full send. From the Squigs, by the looks of it.
Full send. Sending them all up the board.
Now, the thing about these Squig lists is what they do is, you'll notice they want to stay near Greencrack the Great, who, as we talked about, gives fight on death. And now we'll see big, long strings going out around it. We'll see Greencrack almost certainly come here. I believe that's him right there. We'll see him come into the backfield behind. He gives out that buff, that fight on death in the combat phase, and now some people might be asking how they can string out like this. There is a coherency rule, but by putting 3 at the very tail, at the very tip, in base to base, all touching in a little conga line, they can stay together where they get the high fives and the courage to continue fighting.
They do. Manfred is going to... now, the activation order, obviously, is going to be the Gits player first. So he's going to get strike first. So Manfred won't get to activate and teleport away until he takes all the attacks. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to be a bit of a challenge for him. And all of it's 88 attacks.
88 attacks.
Which is kind of fun. Kind of looks like 2 jaws sideways eating stuff.
Very appropriate for Squigs.
Yeah, it looks like 2 Boingrot Bounders. But yeah, so and then we've got the Herders strung out here. So even when you do kill units, you can heal up to 5 D3 Herders, which I think is quite interesting.
Yeah, ridiculous.
But 88 attacks, probably not long for Manfred. He's probably finest out with this turn, try and make him survivable. He starts on a 3-up armor save. He might have given him a Mystic Shield, so he might just be on a 2-up.
Yeah.
And so he won't die, which is the bonkers thing, even from 88 attacks. But we will have to see if that happens.
Now, Rob, if he slaps back and kills some Squigs that have the ability to fight on death, does he get to run away first, or do the Squigs get to take a bite?
So it'd be when he activates, so he would activate instead of attacking.
Oh, of course, that's right.
So a Cloak of Misted Shadows, he would teleport away out the board, which would be good.
Now, it looks like we do have 2 objectives here and here that did turn off at the end of last turn, meaning no points worth them. But I'm guessing Squigs being here means they'll score this objective. However, we've still got them only holding 1, meaning I don't think we're going to see a big scoring turn from the Gits. They're probably not too disappointed by that, but a lot of the Soulblight lists that we have seen played in, the Soulblight lists are a pretty good counter to the Gits. They want to throw those waves of zombies. They're very happy to throw them into Gits because they feel like they can feed the Squig well enough to slow it down.
Maybe. It could be true. It could be true. I mean, I don't think there's very few Soulblight Gravelords lists here at the event. So I would say that, and it's the old book as well, so I don't think that's really come into the thought process of many players, definitely in the list building stage, I would argue. But there's definitely been some... So there's definitely been some thoughts in the pairings for this matchup on why they put that unit in there, but I'm not 100% certain about that. We have just heard, by the way, that we might have just finished rolling the entire time we've been here. Some also interesting facts in the chat. A little interesting nugget: 6 out of the 8 of the Denmark's players, plus the HC and both assistants players in the same club back home, so they get to practice together very often. So he's dead.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah. So mortals on 6s. So 13 mortal wounds and 22 saves. So Manfred is dead. So that first turn by Jesper, sending it up the board. Maybe he was hoping to bring it out so the zombies can go in here. That could have been maybe his goal. that was potentially...
How do you feel, though? He traded Manfred for a single unit of 5 Boing Bounders. It's not a great trade, but if it means that he's going to get into these squigs, maybe it was worth it.
So we're on table 8 right now, and here we can see Christopher representing Team Denmark with his Gnarlroot Sylvaneth against Christian with his Xanthikai. Daughters of Cain. And on the first turn, we saw the Daughters of Cain move Morathi out here, and then we saw a screening unit of combat snakes, and we put another unit at the top of the board. That was the first turn going for for Christian and his Daughters of Cain. However, Christopher then in his first turn looks like he cleared this unit at the top. Didn't clear this unit in the middle, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But he now has got a Lariel. And I think
Durthu is back here, meaning that Durthu Whiplash, jump out, stab, and then jump back, looks like it probably worked.
So we have another unit here then. If that's
I think that's a Tree Lord, maybe?
Okay, well, we'll find out what that is in a moment. Our roaming camera's back. Now it's working. We'll wait. Yeah, thank you very much. We'll wait to see what this is.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, there we go. So it is a Tree Lord. Durthu is at the back of the board, along with the
Warsong Revenant.
And that isn't even a Lariel. That's just a rock.
That's just a rock, just a big rock.
So where is Alariel?
Where is Alariel? Where is she on this board? She's huge. She's riding a gigantic beetle. No way, she's completely dead and gone.
That is her.
That is her. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So we are going to get the camera to go around because this is a lovely conversion that does make Alariel look like a big rock. There it is. Okay, if we have a look on the camera now. Okay, lovely conversion.
Oh, she's inside a little cave. That's cute.
That's
very
cute. Look at it.
That's fun.
Little beetle in a cave.
Yeah, ninja beetle. You couldn't see it. That was great.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alariel has moved down to the bottom of the board. So this is in. This looks like it's Christopher's turn 2.
Yep.
Just get this. Make sure that's our table boss can confirm that. So the top of turn 2.
Yeah.
And then we've seen. It's Daughter's turn 2, top of turn 2. Okay. So Alariel stayed. So very much like I told you earlier, Alariel and Durthu were kind of interesting. Durthu would be able to pop out the forest, fight a thing, and then teleport back. But you can only strike and fade 2 units. And so what we're seeing here is Alariel saying, you know what, super cool, I'll fight Morathi. I outscore Morathi with this Tree Lord on the objective. Morathi has to make the choice, fight the unit that can come back to life, or fight the Tree Lord and definitely kill it. Which is interesting. Either way, Alariel will get to engage in the fight and do some wounds. And then Alariel also is close enough to potentially go and grab this objective, which is currently on, and score the objective. The whole time, these 15 bow snakes are just behind there.
Doing nothing.
Not being involved in the fight.
That's the vast majority of the damage output in this army is sat here at the back. Even if they push up the board as fast as they can go, it's 2 turns where they have done absolutely nothing. And that whole time, this Sylvaneth force has been coming out and punching their pieces off the board, and it's just clearing board space. This Daughters of Cain list, I think, is very, very outclassed by the guerrilla tactics of the Tree People.
Yeah, very good, and really nice for Sylvaneth as well. They only have to move into the middle. There's multiple places for them to go. They can hit the center a third, the top third, or the bottom third. So their mobility is really good. Xanthikai are fast. They're not Calibron as a sub faction of Daughters of Cain, so they don't get teleport. So I really enjoy seeing that. It's just a very good game for Christopher. Right, let's go look at table 1. Back to the Dwarfs versus the Kharadron Overlords. Dwarfs being played by Sweden and Philip, and then the Kharadron Overlords, so the Sky Dwarfs being played by Sven, by Barik Urbaz. In the first turn, we saw the Kharadron Overlords drop a unit of Thunderers here, and then a frigate to the top right, drop a unit out there, and then be able to kill a Flamekeeper and wipe out a unit of fire dwarfs with the help of a Celestin Prime doing some shooting in as well. Now that Celestin Prime was screening this unit of Thunderers, and as you can see, we had a unit of Fire Slayers here.
Past tense.
Which it looks like they didn't engage and they didn't charge. So between the Thunderers and also the Celestant Prime. We lost 30 Fire Slayers in a devastating first turn. In fact, even that screen is still alive. And it is pushing up to block off this board space. We still have one Fire Slayer hero on the top left holding this objective. We have this unit of 15 Hearthguard Berserkers here. And I don't know where our boat is on this board. That has to be the bit that I think
it's down there. I think I just saw it in the bottom. Yeah, if we go back.
So our boat, which also contains some amount of
Thunderers, I believe, in that boat.
Yeah, it's a frigate. So there's 10 Thunderers in there. You can see them. Yeah, thank you. At the bottom, they also chipped in. So 30 Fire Slayers dead to 25 Thunderers in the Celestant Prime in a single turn. And that is just going all that's going all Denmark's way.
Yeah, we've seen this matchup before where the Fire Slayers can fight it out, but usually they don't lose so much output for so little in return. And I think what we'll probably see next is this Celestant Prime will jump over here and take out this Fire Slayer hero.
Okay, and we've just heard the Kharadron Overlords have won the priority into turn 3. So turns 1 and 2 are done, and this is the board state going into turn 3. And they've just called a timeout, and their timeout is probably, I'm just doing really well. Do you want
to get a beer?
Do you want to get a beer?
Yeah.
Do you want to get a beer? Everything seems to be fine. So priority going to Denmark. Fans at home rooting for Sweden. I'm afraid you're going to take a big L here.
Yeah.
But Denmark with the big dub. Yeah. Anyone in the chat on Team Denmark side, you're definitely getting this game.
Yeah.
And also, on a turn 3 prior with the board state like this, you're going to get loads of points.
Absolutely.
It's not just about a win.
It's about a big win.
It's about a big win. Although Fire Slayers, he is going to have to kill this hero as well.
But he's got the Prime. The Prime's going to do that. He'll fly over and do that. No problem.
The Prime can whiff.
That's true.
That is true. And he's going to have to push this unit in and clear this. He's still got the 15 Hearthguard.
Yep.
So he's going to have to try and screen off all of this. And then when he does teleport over, kill this unit, he's just going to pop another Fire Slayer hero on, because don't forget, this is the battle plan where only Galician champions basically get to score.
However, Rob, I think in this boat there's a unit of Thunderers and also a single Chemist in that boat as well. So I think he'd be able to jump up here, kill him with the shooting even if he has to, and then he's still got a character in the boat on the table.
Yeah, really cool. So who we got love for in the chat? Sven the Garbage Talker, no takebacks, apparently. I don't know the game, but this doesn't look good. Boobin correct.
Yeah.
So we got some info on the players as well in a moment. Right, so we're just going over to table 2. This is the same battle plan. The objectives are controlled better by Galician champions. We did get the Beast of Chaos winning the priority into turn 2. First turn, pretty exciting. We had a Warp Lightning Cannon, and Beast of Chaos took the first turn. They alpha struck, and they took out a Warp Lightning Cannon here.
Yeah.
Then what we got Skaven taking their first turn, moved up Thanquol, and he took out some unit here and held the objective. Then, as you can see, he tried to build a screen with some clan rats and make sure he could protect the board as well as possible. However, for Casper, and then Be'lakor is on the Beast of Chaos side. So Beast of Chaos player has now brought his Be'lakor down to fight Thanquol. And ladies and gentlemen, Beast of Chaos have won the turn into turn 2. This does mean that we're going to see this unit of 6 Bulgor, who are currently untouched, also be able to go in here. You have another unit of 6 off the board. They're going to get to go make a big charge as well. They're going to deploy... So Be'lakor is going for Thanquol, who redeployed and is finest hours as well.
Yep.
So pretty survivable.
Quite durable.
Be'lakor won't use the ability, hasn't used the ability yet, so we'll use the ability in the next turn, definitely, to shut down something on that board. Probably the Verminlord Warbringer. Probably the Verminlord Warbringer, and that's because he's got the Devious Charm. He'll have the Trinket as well. So he's just quite survivable. So he's definitely. But we still have loads more units to come on. We have Raiders. We have Galician champions. We've got another unit of 6 Bulgor to come on the board as well.
9 Bulgor.
9 Bulgor still on.
I think this army was 6 Bulgor, 9 Bulgor, Rob.
Yikes.
Big yikes.
Yikes. That is devastating. It's devastating.
So I think we might even see a unit of Bulgor come in here and do a multi-charge into that screen and Thanquol potentially with Be'lakor there as well. Oh my gosh, nope, here we are. We're seeing them down here, corner pocket, meaning that they are going to go into this Warp Lightning Cannon, into Thanquol, and potentially try to take a lot of that out. I have a feeling that we're going to get a charge from Be'lakor first to try and draw out that Unleash Hell from Thanquol if he can. Wow. Oh, big turn for the beasts.
And by the looks of it, this is the unit that's using Bestial Cunning, so it only has to be, and I'll get that double checked, it only has to be 7 inches away, but they have a banner in their unit which allows them, there's Jonathan. Fans of the Honest War Game will remember Jonathan from just being an absolute treasure.
Total babe.
Total babe. So he's very excited. He's one of the assistant coaches for Sweden. Yep. And the Bestial Cunning means that he made that charge here. He made that charge with the 7-inch charge. He needed a 7, whereas this he just needs a 5 on a reroll.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. Table you should at least be able to eyeball if that's 5 inches away. 7 inches away or 9 inches away. Because that's going to be all the difference.
I would say
7.
So what I would say is that he's going to do 7-inch charge with a reroll here and just get in on 1. He'll start with Be'lakor first, obviously, draw the Unleash Hell, bring them in. Then I think what he'll do is he'll use this charge if he can. It gives him 2 chances. He can do it once. I don't know where the Doom Bull is. I'm guessing it's down here with the other one as well.
Yeah, it will be.
That double charge.
Yes. Yeah. So what he's also going to do is he's going to probably do the mortal wound impact hits as well, and he might, as you can see, he's measuring to the Warp Lightning Cannon. So what he'll do is he'll charge Be'lakor in, then he'll charge the Bulgor in. The Bulgor will do the mortal wound impact hits into this Warp Lightning Cannon and kill it. Most likely, and then maybe what he'll do is he'll do not charge Be'lakor at all, not Be'lakor, sorry, Thanquol at all. Just be 3.1 inches away. Then use the Doom Bull's ability to do another charge, do all of those mortal wounds in addition, and then avoid the Overwatch.
Well, the other thing though, Rob, is that he also this is such a flexible army. He's clearly staying away from Thanquol. I think he intends to go for it, but he can also get in here, kill it with the mortal wounds, and then potentially double charge into the backfield and take out a lot of these key galley champs that are hiding back here in the Skaven bunker, meaning that the Skaven won't have objectives secured. They won't be able to lock in objectives, meaning that they'll be able to just consistently outscore. And then if Thanquol's tied up with Be'lakor, the Dark Master, remember, it's not a combat Thanquol, it's a flamethrower Thanquol. Be'lakor should outclass him over the course of a couple of turns, and then
he's dead.
And then these Bulgor...
He's dead in 1 turn.
He's dead in a turn, but I'm saying these Bulgor could potentially push through into here and kill all of the galley champions remaining for the Skaven.
Yeah, it's quite nice to actually see a different pace on a Beast of Chaos game that we've seen before. We've seen a lot of armies castle quite aggressively and not push out in any way. It's quite interesting deployment from William with his Skaven. He left some stuff out so that he can retaliate with everything, and then he just got picked apart piece by piece. This is pretty much the TLDR of what not to do versus Beast of Chaos.
I was about to say, I think also unfortunately sending Thanquol over here and shooting off that unit of Ungor Raiders was a real big waste of his points. At least if he'd maybe come here, scored, and then tried to shoot off this unit of Bulgor, he would have traded for something worthwhile. At this point in time, he's trading Thanquol for about 80 points worth of goat people.
He is. And having already traded out his Warp Lightning Cannon as well.
For nothing.
For nothing. I mean, and then interestingly, we didn't even see the Warbringer come into the mix as well. Now, maybe this game will play out differently. It's differently. But in my opinion, this is just going to be a disaster. So there's Thanquol eyeing down a bunch of beefcakes.
And he is waving the flag by the looks of things.
Okay. So we're going to table 3, and we are at the bottom of turn 3.
What a change on this board. So should we quickly recap just to go back on where we've started and where we've been? We had Khorne deploy quite formidably across the front, big screens to the side, and this wrap at the bottom. And then Tzeentch in return, just a very, very slight defensive bubble with Kairos in there, and then a second bin chicken summoned. We had Khorne in turn 2, given priority, and push aggressively across the middle of the board, trying to screen this middle objective. Now remember, on this battle plan, the way you win is by controlling your home objective first, then from turn 3 scoring the middle objective, and in then a full automatic victory if you control all 3 objectives after that. So that would have been the play. That would have been what they were going for. But what we've seen instead is this Khorne shield wall here that featured the big damage dealer, the Boom Thirster, the area denial, the murder specialist, go down to what I think would have been a combination of magic and combat by this chicken bird of magic here. The combat Khorne defeated by the tricksy magic of Tzeentch.
I think it's more of a position where like if you're actually looking at the game state, like Tzeentch are always going to be able to get more points and therefore get a minor victory and therefore points for their team.
I mean,
so they get more points in their match and then and therefore get more points for their team across the course of the game.
Yeah.
So Khorne had to make a decision, and Sweden currently are leading on the points, but they would have just you could have played for a minor.
Yeah.
Like they could have played for a minor loss. That's not really the Swedish playstyle though. They play for big wins, and so they maybe they've just seen this as a tough matchup for them anyway.
Yeah.
But as you can see, those Lord of Change are pushing out aggressively. The Bloodthirster is already down as well. They don't have very much summoning now. To be fair, the units that they do have are incredibly survivable. You've got a unit of 15 wounds on a 2-up armor save at the top, same at the bottom, that's 30 wounds on a 2-up armor save. Then you have a unit of 10 Blood Warriors, and then I don't know if there's another unit of 10 Blood Warriors, that's a unit in here.
They're surviving in there,
So then that's still 20 wounds.
I think we just saw the ones on the line lifted, unfortunately.
That's still 20 wounds on that objective as well.
Yeah.
And then maybe he was hoping that these blood crushers could come round. And then take this. But there's just too much ball presence for Tzeentch.
Yeah.
A lot of this is just a battle plan that doesn't get played specifically
for this reason.
For this reason is that it's such a non-game in many ways.
It just becomes an arms race. It's basically at deployment, one army usually has the nuggets on the other, and it's just a question of how many turns it takes them to get where they need to go.
But you've also got no lateral play. Like it's just purely linear. Like you just go. You just go in a straight line. Khorne have got no battle tactics as well, so it's just bad for everyone in every situation.
Absolutely.
And so this was a really tough one. So this would mean Alexander for Denmark. At least he's getting the minor win. We don't know yet if he'll pick up the major win. He's still got a lot to clear. So table 4, and this is our matchup. They've got very exciting from the off. So Lumineth, Saves of Darkness got the choice to go first, and they gave it to Lumineth. And Lumineth didn't do anything else than just create a screen on the far right-hand side there and just build a little line. Saves of Darkness then took the turn. And they moved their cheeky little Archeon, the Ever-Chosen, into the mid-board, and then priority into turn 2. Saves of Darkness got it, and they just went in. They were like, I'm just going to go clear some stuff. And as you can see, hopefully we can get some wound updates on some of these units, but he pushed Archeon. We pushed Archeon right into the center. There you can see, and now most of those wardens are dead. Archeon has. Well, we don't know if it's 16 wounds left or 16 wounds taken.
But he is tagged in combat with the Light of Eltharion down here.
Now, Light of Eltharion is pretty decent actually.
Yeah,
he's like a mini Gotrek. But like you rarely see it in play. But he's got a 3-up ward save. So Archeon has taken 16 wounds as well.
Okay.
So this isn't necessarily paying off because the Light of Eltharion can tank a lot of damage, which is quite interesting.
He's also
Teclis has also got a heal spell, so you can also put a lot of healing back into this army. Well, not lots of healing, but some healing in there as well, which is pretty good. So that then those units that are fighting Archeon get tapped. So Eltharion is currently on 3 wounds taken. The Spirit of the Mountain is on, I'm not sure how many wounds taken. We'll get an update on that in a minute. 2 wounds taken, but Archeon is on 16 wounds taken. But Slaves of Darkness have got the turn.
Yeah.
And they've got 20 Splintered Fang here, 20 Splintered Fang here, all of which they can send in a big wave. And this is the turn in which they have to push, in my opinion.
Yep.
They've got to put it all in there. Now, unfortunately, this potentially sets them up for a Teclis double, but Teclis is going to have to deal with maybe 40 Splintered Fang. There's another unit of 20 back here. The resources are getting very thin for both sides. Archeon dying is also going to be really massive.
Yep.
Rune.
He's coming in aggressively. And remember, this is a Ravager's army as well for Slaves to Darkness, so if they lose one of these units, they can bring them back at half strength.
But also, don't forget, all that Michael has to do with his Ravager's army is get more models on this objective.
Yeah.
He currently owns this. It's now Battle Round 3. He owns this objective. All he has to do at the end of this Battle Round is get more models on this objective than his opponent. Now, Teclis is obviously on there, and then we have a couple of other infantry units, but he doesn't have to get he doesn't have to get a lot of models on there.
No, he doesn't. And also, let's remember, there is the magical chance that Archaon here could put one of these two in the sword. Now, I think what we'll see is the Splintered Fang are going to push up. They'll get some shots off, and they'll be trying to either clear one of these two units out of Archaon. I mean, if they spike massively, they might potentially be able to clear it and let him charge over into Teclis. And Rob, it would be my dream to see him put that elf in the sword.
Yeah.
That would be great.
So, and as the chat has quite rightly pointed out, obviously there's a couple of other bits to talk about. The Cathalar has got the ability to shut down a unit that's got low bravery and is doing that. And then there's also Teclis has got a spell to do the same thing as well. So those Splinter Fang, Dan, looks like they're not going in. Looks like they haven't passed their bravery checks to get involved in the game. So they are not running over, and instead of setting up a screen. So this looks like to be a losing position now for Sweden because they just can't bring their units to bear. They want to, but they just can't.
Wow.
And that's a real challenge because, again, that Cathalar spell and also Teclis, which is why you see them both buddied up. Effectively, imagine... You know how I always describe Bellicors, best unit in the game?
Yeah.
Imagine two Bellicors every hero phase.
And imagine one of them is a really cheap, crying, sooky little elf.
Yes, exactly.
That just wears a veil and has a sob, and then for some reason, a unit on the other side of the board feels so bloody bad for her that it goes, you know what, guys? Let's do nothing this turn just to make her feel better. Yeah. Bloody elves.
Sooky elves, eh?
Sooky elves.
Sooky elves.
Only thing better than a dwarf is a dead elf.
Okay. Well, it's still a tough match. We'll come back to this in a moment. That's table 4. Table 5. See if Ronya. Now, this is the yikes. Dan, do you want to catch us up on what?
Yeah, okay, so let's super quickly go through this. Now, this turn is taking a little while, but that's because look at what's happening, and it is big yikes. Ronya, remember, the Night Queen. She is, at this point in time, though maybe not for much longer, 20-0 at Worlds events. She went undefeated in the singles and the teams events last year, undefeated 5 games straight at the singles events this year, and has so far been undefeated. But look at this. She has got a massive... She deployed down here, was given the turn, and pushed a unit up here. Now, we do know that this is a bad matchup because her army are Depravity Pinatas, and the Slanesh army love to bust up a little balloon.
Dan, yikes. John, I need a shot from the other side. I need to look into the loot shrine.
So what happened was a unit pushed up here to the top where they were immediately countered by a Slanesh charge. That Slanesh charge has then one priority, followed around and wrapped her units up while Slanesh has pushed across the board, scoring all the objectives, and they've wrapped around the sides of her loon shrine here, engaged the small remaining units left, and there is not much left on the board. Rob, are we about to see the Night Queen's streak ended?
I mean...
it looks like it.
This is one of the biggest yikes I've ever seen.
Ronya, I believe in you. If anyone can bring this back, it's you.
Yeah, like everyone in the chat saying, Mouth, you still have a chance to concede and resolve this peacefully.
That's true. That's true.
It's you versus the internet, Mouth.
Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to be the person that.
So who have we got left alive? Look, let's go back, John, please, if you could. That's Mouth, right. the Queen Killer,
the Queen Slayer.
There's Mouth now to be renamed Jon Snow.
Yeah,
just the Queen Killer.
Oh wow.
Okay, so we've got a Fungoid Cave Shaman, and it looks like a unit of sneaky snufflers.
Yeah.
Now, to quote Nathan, and Scragra. To quote Nathan Prescott, it looks like the Gits are in a good position.
They've got the truffle pigs, Rob.
They've got the truffle pigs.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, this is not looking very good.
It looks like what it's taken to take down Ronya is the perfect matchup against her. The perfect.
She can. You know what? I know you're all gonna this is some copium, and there is some copium
Rob,
here.
I need it. Well,
so at the end of Ronya's turn, so in her turn she's not going to score very well. At the end of her turn, she gets to bring a unit back.
Yeah.
On a double, she definitely can clear that objective of stuff.
Right.
then she's got to wait a turn. Then she can clear some more stuff. And then if there's like 20 more turns, she might be able to bring enough stuff back and then get back in the fight. But yeah, this is
Rob.
This is RIP.
I'm going to borrow that copium pipe off of you, Scrivo. If we could get a shot back of the Loon Shrine. Just
wait, don't worry, lads. Everyone in the chat, calm down. There's a unit of 5 Point Grot Bounders.
Thank goodness. So this unit of 5 Point Grot Bounders goes in here, clears out that unit. A Clammy Hand unit. This unit of Sneaky Snufflers absolutely spikes, clears out this other unit, and Scragrot clears them. In a turn, she will have the Loon Shrine back under her control. She brings back a unit of Squigs here, pushes out, clears out those archers, and has taken off the majority of the pieces in this Slaanesh army. Ronya, I believe in you so
hard. Oh, wait,
hard.
there are 2 Squig handlers left. That does mean we're going to get some more Squigs back.
Let this be the version where
more Squigs,
where the Queen burns down Casterly Rock and then the Red Keep, and then just gets to enjoy living in the flames.
So there's 5 Boingrots, like legit. If we just take it from the top down a minute, which are down here, there's 5 Boingrots can also. They've got some options. They could maybe even go into here. They're unfortunately surrounded by Bliss Barbs, but like they've got some options to take out some units. The major issue is those Bliss Barbs stand and shoot is very effective.
Yeah.
Right. If she wins this, this is crazy. The reason it's important for everyone at home in the chat who might be watching is Ronya won 11 games and lost no games last year at Worlds, and is currently she's currently won 9 games here. Only today for her to bring out those last 2 wins. Oh, she was undefeated at Worlds 2 years ago too. But this might be the time we see Ronya lose.
And of course, we have to commentate on it.
Yeah, so she's Tom the TO is very excited.
Tom TO, can you get in there and as a ref change the result,
just
please?
Change the result.
Please fix it.
Just tell Mouth that the internet is furious.
She's the queen. I'd just like to point out that she is the queen, and Rob is from a monarchy. So let's get that resolved,
I'm
please.
not from a monarchy. I'm from a horrible class system, but that's a different conversation for another day. Okay, so looking tough for Ronya. Ronya is going to get a turn now. This is a next double turn. We will see the return on this. Okay, very close.
Let's do it, Ronya.
And it does have to be the Danish do it. I know that makes it worse.
So much worse.
That makes it worse. Okay,
just glad it wasn't Australia.
So here we see the Slaves to Darkness slapback, and as we quite rightly predicted, got to say, so we're joining Jonas with his Slaanesh Pretenders force, and representing Sweden, and Morten with his Knights of the Empty Throne Slaves to Darkness force for Team Denmark. We saw a pretty interesting first turn, where what Jonas has been doing is he's basically just been screening and closing units down as much as he can, trying to get points on the board, because as we've finally seen, these Varangard have got in and they've just started to lift units.
Yeah, he knew as soon as they touched, they were just going to start tearing holes in his army. He doesn't have the power to get through their armor or the durability to survive.
I don't even know if he's killed I think he's killed
one knight.
Has he killed any models?
I think he's killed maybe 2 knights by the looks of things. We've got 8 knights here, so he's probably killed 2.
I think he's killed a Varangard.
Wow, what a big turn.
I think he's killed a Varangard. Thanks, Bart's Wargaming, for donating a gift sub in the chat. Thanks, everyone, for subscribing and supporting the stream. It means so much to me that you can help do it. Appreciate it loads. What I'm saying is subscribe. Help everyone out and subscribe. And if you do subscribe, you may get the opportunity. You may get the opportunity to win this. The Baron of Banter Social Media Award.
Wow.
There you go. Now, this is something we get to present later.
We get to choose whoever had the spiciest memes, the hottest takes, and the best burns.
Yeah, it obviously won't be you, chat, because you suck.
Yeah, not good at it.
No.
A bunch of them came after me for supporting Team Australia in the Australia v Canada matchup. None of them.
Yeah. However, the important part about this game is that we have just heard the priority has gone to Slaanesh, going into turn 3. So Morten is not set up for a double. Jonas and his Slaanesh force is going to get to hit back, but with dwindling resources in this unit of Slickblade Seekers and also these Bliss Barb Archers. Be'lakor, obviously, it's okay, but I don't think this is as good as Knights or Varangard. Oh, we just heard a Varangard rally.
The one Varangard that he'd managed to kill has come back. At this point in time,
devastating.
I think he had done, at the bottom of that round, he'd done 12 wounds. In a moment, he has just rallied back half of them. in a single moment and a single model. So super, like,
so let's literally have hit a brick wall.
Just for those who might not have known, so the way this game works,
it's going to be a really bad list in singles.
We had the Slaves to Darkness army kind of formed up into this brick. In turn 1, a Mask of Slaanesh popped up right here within 3 and forced Slaves to Darkness to take the turn and kill that unit dead. Then in the next turn, while the Slaves to Darkness were still bricked up in this line, a unit of Seekers formed a line there and forced them to go around the outside. In that turn, they again delayed them, but it has finally come that they have busted out of their cage and they're doing just fine. They're going to rip holes in this army.
So just for everyone, it's Knights here, Varangard at the top, Varangard in the middle. And I reckon 6 Varangard could solo the whole Slaanesh army.
I was about to say, if they've got their double pile in an attack yet, I'm guessing they haven't used it. They're going to be awesome.
So, yeah, we've got 2 Knights dead and 1 Varangard dead. So,
wow.
Pretty interesting. Thanks, John, for the lovely shot of the Be'lakor. And then we have our unit. We do have a little. Those are Blitzbarb archers in the back. Right, table 7. We're jumping over to table 7.
Table 7.
And we've just heard Gitz have got the second turn. Now, this is Caspar Agdal.
Wow.
Caspar Agdal. And what happened in the first turn for Sweden and Jesper Malenda is he moved up this unit of zombies into the middle and another unit of zombies up to the top. He does have 2 pocket units of Graveguard, don't forget. So we've got 20 Graveguard there, and we should have 20 Graveguards somewhere else.
I think.
I'm not sure
maybe
where.
Maybe in the underworld, maybe still in the grave.
Maybe still in the grave site. You're right, Dan. Maybe still in the grave site. So
now, Rob, we saw
that's 1 unit. I'm just trying to find out where the second unit of Graveguard are.
Rob, we saw very early in the game. We had. The Manfred, the Mortarch of Night, come up here, slap 5 Boyne Rock Bounders and trade for them with his life. Not a great return on investment there. We saw these squigs here go in and clear out a big scoring unit of, not necessarily a great unit, but a big unit of 10 Direwolves. We also have seen there was a big block of zombies zoning out this back area here. That is gone as well. Lots of pieces being taken off the board at the moment for this Soulblight list and not trading very well in return. It looks like we've got them here. But the thing is, Gitz are just finishing this turn, and Rob, we're hearing they only have 22 minutes left on their clock.
They do. I mean, we've got an hour. We've got an hour and a half of the round left. They don't have loads of time on their clock left. Okay, that's interesting. That was interesting. Okay.
Now, remember, in this tournament, players each, we're playing on clocks. Players each only have an hour and a half to play their game, meaning they do have to get through it in an efficient amount of time. So if you take too long on your early turns and you clock out, meaning you run out of time, the only thing you can do for the rest of the game is roll armor saves and necessary wards.
Yeah, so this is quite an interesting match because obviously this is twists and turns. Soulblight Gravelord still deployed quite heavily down here at the bottom, and as you can see, we've got these 2 units. We've got these 2 units of Graveguard here that are going to fight back. Oh no, it can't be them. They've already played. This is just a swan song. It's all over.
What's
it's
this?
all over. No, that's wrong. Okay, sorry. I'm just that's fine. This unit up here, we were just trying to work out. So while we're also doing the streaming, people are also bringing us information about games happening around the room. I was thinking, it'll be Denmark-France in the final, but it absolutely won't be because the Danes have beat every tough team. This is the final team they have to beat. If the
Danes take out Sweden, there is no one left to come for the king.
They'll have to play Italy probably.
Yeah.
But they've beat every team that's beat every other team.
Yes.
So but we don't know that's the result. If we jump to table 8 and we look at Marathi unpacking into the Nalroy played by Christopher, Christian from his Xantha Kai Daughters of Cain army has got, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, unless I'm mistaken, this is a Durthu. And there are no bow snakes.
Wow.
Okay, so unless I'm mistaken, unless I'm
Scrivo has a shot for us of the bow snakes.
Okay, so there are 3 bow snakes left.
Wow.
Now there should be. Is there a character nearby? So there are the fighty snakes.
It looks like there might be
one. I want
one.
the Iron Scale. I want the Melisate Iron Scale. No, that's Marathi.
That's Marathi, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the Melisate Iron Scale would be important. All the Cauldron of Blood, because they would have the 4-up rally.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they don't. Okay, so let's try and reanalyze this board here.
Okay.
So it does look like there's a Tree Lord at the top. There's a Lariel at the bottom. There's Durthu that managed to get the charge into the Bow Snakes. Looks like there are 3 Bow Snakes left up the top here, which is not a lot. Especially when they don't have access to a 4-up rally. Now, they obviously still can rally some, but Marathi is here. So all the resources are currently available for Christopher, and there are no resources left for Christian. He does obviously have Marathi. So Christian is going to shoot from the Shadow Queen, try and take that in. There's this other unit down here of Canary, potentially the bottom left-hand corner, or it's Tree Revenants. Okay, so looks like Marathi is going to charge in.
Yeah.
We need to know in that bottom left-hand corner. Oh, wrong button.
It looks like trees, not...
it is trees.
It is trees.
It is trees.
Trees, not wings. Now, Rob, this is great for me. I love to see a dead elf. Really, really love to see it. Chop their little snaky tails right off of their elfy bodies and put them in the ground. I love also Marathi cowardly running away from Alariel.
Oh, really?
Look at that. Look, here's Alariel here. Marathi had the choice, go into her, but instead she has just absolutely bailed and has decided instead to fight trees because she obviously doesn't trust herself in a fair fight. Exactly what I'd expect from a tricksy snake elf. Now, let's remember, this game, there actually hasn't been a noticeable...
We missed like a very important engagement.
We missed a huge combat there.
And I don't think we can recap it.
Yeah.
Like, I think at some point, like Dan's about to say, some Bow Snakes went in here, and Marathi, not Bow Snakes, Fighting Snakes went in the middle, and Marathi came down the bottom. But then with different charges, we saw Alariel move down aggressively, Durthu jumped in, jumped out, and at some point, we've got a tree summoned. We've got Durthu into them, into the Bow Snake, sorry. We've reduced them down to 3. Everything else is attacked. While that's an okay recap, I think we missed half a turn.
We missed an absolute slaughter.
I think what we just missed is Marathi just not doing anything.
Yeah.
Just running around trying to score. But this is a good win for Denmark.
Absolutely. I think what we've seen Marathi doing is, you know that the old cartoon of like a leaking boat with a bunch of holes trying to be plugged by fingers? That's what Marathi's doing right now, and unfortunately the water is just coming in.
It's time. With an hour and 25 minutes left on the clock, I'm going to start doing some early predictions if you're up for it, Dan.
Yeah.
If you're up for it. So we're going to play on table 1.
Yep.
And if you remember, the Karajan Overlords got that second turn, that double.
And that looks like the only unit left in the middle there for the Fire Slayers.
There is a unit of Fire Slayers left in the middle, and that is it. We brought the boat over with the Thunderers, and we bridged over these Thunderers as well, and we took out the 15 Hearthguard Berserkers. There are still some heroes left, but there's not much left for them.
No.
But I don't know if this Fire Slayers hero got kept alive on the side. The game is close, but it will go to Denmark.
Absolutely.
And their Karajan Overlords. So that's Denmark. There's Denmark on 1 win.
Yeah.
Okay. The score is going to update as well in a minute to 15-10 to Denmark at the bottom of round 3. So that's still 2 more turns of scoring and also grand strategy. Yeah. This is going to go very, very well.
Yeah, this is there.
So that one's going to get updated in a minute. All the scores are going to be updated. If we can make sure they're all updated now as we run through. But this is 15-10. It's a Denmark win, and I reckon that they'll end up on a really good point score at the minute. And then table 2, we got Casper for Denmark into the Skaven, and as you can see, we've got Bulgor here. Thankwall is dead, Dan. We did call it. Thankwall is dead.
Look, this Warp Lightning Cannon did survive, but unfortunately it's going to be like throwing peanuts at a swallow, and it's just not going to do anything.
It's not going to do much. Now, he does have the Verminlord Warbringer, and I want to be real clear. The Verminlord Warbringer is an absolute beast. It also has Fight on Death on his War Scroll as well.
Yeah.
So, like, legitimately can probably solo this part of the board. It's just going to be dealing with everything is going to be the issue while avoiding the Bulgor coming in. But this is one of those things that... and we're probably going to get a Be'lakor soon.
Yep.
Because we haven't... I don't think we've had a Be'lakor used yet. So the major issue in this particular match is that Beasts obviously always have a survivability issue going from that first turn drop being fairly devastating. They have a survival issue. So we'll see.
We've got this big unit of 20 here that are going to be pushing up. We've got the Doomball there. Looks like he's only taken a wound. Who's going to be supporting this unit of Bulgor?
So Be'lakor has been used, and it is used on the Warbringer.
Of course.
So that Warbringer is going to be able to move, and that is pretty good. But you still got to make a charge. Still got to make a roll to fight. So in my personal opinion, this is another win to Denmark.
Yeah, I think they've probably got the legs on this one.
So that's table 1, table 2.
Yep.
Okay, although it's still all to play for. Table 3, this is Eric.
Ooh, look.
We're in the bottom of round 4.
Now, Rob, when we were last here, we'd seen Korn start here, put the big push out into that wrap. We saw Tzeentch over here, and it looked like Korn was pushing onto the objective. Then we saw a big counterplay by Tzeentch, clearing so much from that middle objective. And now in this battle plan, for those who might have been late joining us, you win by scoring objectives in order. And as soon as you complete all 3, you win automatically. So 1, 2, and then 3. But you do need to do it in order. Tzeentch, with that big counterplay, put themselves on to potentially do the sweep, having taken 1 and 2. We've seen a massive counterplay by Korn. They've forced this Lord of Change to retreat back onto the home objective, and by bringing these big units of Skull Crushers into and onto this objective, they've cleared it out and held it back. This has kind of gone, this arm wrestle, this tug of war has gone both ways.
It's never. Oh, okay. It's never gone. We're going to come to that in a moment. So this table 3, which is one we're on now, is all over, and it was never ever going to be a case where in this position Korn would be able to push into Tzeentch again.
No.
That's not really where they were at.
They were fighting to stop the major loss.
Yes. Korn at that point was were fighting to stop the major loss. What was happening was Sweden pushed very aggressively because they were never going to get the minor win, because they were never going to get the battle tactics. They were never going to get the grand strategy. So they had to engage, see if they could break the castle apart. When they didn't, they protected it, and it's all a handshake over. So this is a minor win to Alex. And therefore is definitely a result.
Looks like only a 3-point difference, though, which means that's only going to be a very, very slim margin for that victory.
Yeah, that's great for Eric. He's going to be super happy about that. But I think this game was never going to go any other way.
No.
And both players set up, deployed, and played that game out that way. Shout out for Eric for trying it, and also really big shout out to. Really big shout out to Alexander for playing a super dull game. Not like I enjoyed it, but like it's got to be frustrating to be like, cool, I'm going to sit here, score some points for 3 rounds in a game where you want to be scoring points for your team, you want to be out there winning games, you want to be doing stuff. He just has to. He knew what his job was. He played that methodical, slow game, and he did a good job.
He didn't have an exciting job for the team this round. He had a very dull one, but he did it, and he did it well.
Thanks, chat. It's actually a 15-5 on this battle plan, Dan.
Oh, it is, of course. That's right. It is an automatic 15-5. Sorry, my mistake.
That's okay. So 15 points. So that does put us on table 3, Dan. I don't know if you're keeping track. That's Denmark. So that's 3 for Denmark.
That's
so
3
far.
for Denmark.
Over on this turn, we got table number 4. Our overhead seems to be quite different to our roaming camera because on our overhead, Archeon is alive, and on our roaming camera, he is dead. So we'll try to get that sorted. So John, if you could just stay there a minute so we could try to work out what's happening from this shot, please. That'd be really great. So Archeon has died, and it does look like the Spirit of the Mountain and that unit of Dawn Riders, you can see there, are starting to progress across the board. So they're going to want to try and take out all of those Splinter Fang.
Ooh, we've got a spell portal right in the middle there too.
It's a lot of mortal wounds. It's a lot of mortal wounds, but it's a lot of wounds on the board. Apologies, in those different models. So it's a lot to clear through. If we can find out where we are in the game, but over the course of a couple of rounds. It's the bottom of round 3. That's enough.
Yeah.
That gives him enough time.
That does.
Searing White Light, which is a spell you cast from Teclis, who's located... Oh, I don't have to. Yeah. Who's located at the back there. Going through that spell portal is going to start to chip at those units. Now, it is a Ravager's army, so they do have the ability to bring back half of units every turn. But the Dawn Riders and the Spirit of the Mountain are going to be able to keep chipping away at those wounds as well.
Now, it looks like...
So go on after you.
It looks like we do have a unit of Splintered Fang behind this terrain piece here. John, if you could just hold it steady for just a second. Looks like we've got a unit of Splintered Fang behind that terrain piece there, meaning he's going to have to commit. Looks like maybe Teclis is going to go this way, or the Light of Eltharion. To clear that off. Now, score-wise, the Slaves have scored 3 tactics, putting them at 6 points. Lumineth have only scored 1, meaning they're only at 2. So the pressure is on them to score, but I think as they progress into the board, they're just going to have the tools to continue to put the pressure. Might not get the major, the 20-0, but I think they will be able to play for the minor.
Yeah, so I think ultimately this goes to Denmark, Dan, if you want to write that down.
That's another one. That's 4 to Denmark.
It's 4 to Denmark. That's tables 1-4, looking pretty yikes for Sweden.
Sweden were the underdogs going into this match. They might have been in first place.
They had the first place on points.
But they had dropped a game. And Denmark have...
So don't worry. We've got our automatic 20-0 that we get from Ronja.
Automatic.
Ronja on the first turn pushed out a unit of 15 Boingrot Bounders. Then she got doubled by the Slaneshi force, in which they took out the Boingrots. They threw a bunch of units into her lines, along with the Blissbarb archers shooting off all other units. And then we have got you can see here what we've got left. We've got a unit of Seekers and some Boingrots. And this is Ronja's turn too. So what she needs to do here, Dan, because you bring units back at the end of your turn, she needs to clear off this unit of Seekers out of her territory.
Yes.
Then what she needs to do on the double turn, which she needs to get, she needs to push...
At the bottom of this turn... Oh, yeah, sorry, yep.
She has got a unit of Boingrots back at the end of this turn.
Yep.
Yeah, so she's going to put them back there now. What their job is going to be to take out... To take this, she needs the priority roll. This priority roll is basically going to determine whether or not Ronja, the Night Queen, currently 20-0 at World Team Championships, will be able to stay in the game.
Rob, there was a period where this horde army that Ronja has of squigs, you could have counted on 2 hands how many models she had left on the board just about. And look, she's cleared her home. If she wins this priority, she might swing back what we thought was an epic defeat. And
this is like 210 points worth of models that's just come back. And then Ronja scored 3 points there.
But what she has done is she's traded units that she gets to bring back for just
Here we go.
Direct output.
What did Ronja roll?
What's the roll? We're waiting to hear.
He's rolling terrain. Ronja rolled a 5.
Oh no! We've heard that the roll was a 2, but on terrain, re-rolled into a 6, meaning that the pretenders, the Slanesh, have probably stolen Ronja's unbeaten record.
Oh no!
Devastating.
Oh, no.
A 5 on priority. You've got to...
Ronja's in such a tough position now.
She's
got
down.
1 unit. She put the Boingrot Bounders, like even playing into the defeat.
She put them into the terrain.
No. She put them into terrain, so they're on a little bit of a better save. But yeah, that is a big yike. She rolled a 5 as well, ladies and gentlemen. She rolled a 5. It looks like Ronja, having lost the priority in that turn, is losing the game. This is... Now, we'll come back to this.
We will. We'll give them a chance, see what happens. I'm going to need a defibrillator. My heart just
sorry for the
so
shouting chat.
Yeah, very sorry.
So we've had a question, how are they coming back so close to the Seekers? When you're able to bring units back from the Loon Shrine, you have to be wholly within 12 inches of the Loon Shrine, but can be just outside of 3 inches of enemy units. So that's how you do it. So very close. Slash obviously going to take the turn. We have a unit of Blissbarb Archers here, a big brick of Blissbarb Archers here, and another unit. These Slickblade Seekers are fast. I do wonder if they're fast enough to get across the board and threaten this part of the board.
And also, how many depravity do they have at the moment?
Yeah. Currently down, though, now, I don't want to... Yeah, they do have loads of depravity. Don't forget those squig depravity
those
pinatas. Wait, is the terrain overgrown? Wait.
The terrain's overgrown, Rob.
Then they're immune to the Blissbarb Archer shooting.
Which means this unit's tagged. The Blissbarb Archers would have to go into the squigs in combat to clear them, and this unit here is way too far to put pressure on them from the other side of the board, meaning this unit of squigs...
They're not too far. They're far, but they're not too far.
I don't think
they're very fast.
I don't think they'd have the movement. They've got to go around the Fane. They've got to go around this piece of terrain. I don't think they could get all the way here and get the charge in this turn, meaning that those squigs probably survived this turn.
We'll see. They do move 14 inches. Okay, 37 to wait. Overgrown, is that custom terrain? Overgrown is actually a keyword that is on some terrain in Age of Sigmar. In this particular pack for Worlds, overgrown is defined as 1 inch. If you measure an inch across overgrown terrain, which is very, very good. Like, you really, really need some line of sight blocking terrain in your games of Age of Sigmar at home. If you're not playing with it, you're just having a worse game. Yeah. And so it is. While it is a custom keyword, it is pretty much a standard keyword that's roughly used around the world in many different ways. My events and lots of UK TC events use my keywords for that. Well, Charlie's, sorry, to be very specific. But who's currently table bossing, so Charlie's use those, and then in the US they use some stuff like that as well. Generally, we all use something like that somewhere in the world because we recognise that that's actually something sensible. So the only lesson we've learned from 40k players. The lesson they need to learn is how to have a good time.
Yeah, they're just a smile. That's really tough for them. It's difficult. I think their cheeks weren't built with the right muscles for it, but hopefully the new edition will help them smile a little bit.
Hopefully they'll learn that. But see, there's one of them's our cameraman, and that's why he's so salty.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So if anyone's keeping track, Game 5 is currently look like it's going to Denmark, Dan.
I don't want to call that one. That's wrong.
Let's just write it down.
Okay, you want me to write it down?
I want you to write it down.
Okay, I'm going to write Rob Denmark because I'm never giving up on Ronya.
I'm not giving up on Ronya.
It sounds like you are.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying I reckon, Rob, that this round is going to go to Denmark, but I think Rob is going to get the win. That's my prediction.
Right, so table 6. This is our Slaves to Darkness. Oh, look at us, our Slanesh turn 3, he's gone full send,
he has.
Which I love to see.
It looks like
he's put his Slickblade Seekers down into the unit and Knights at the bottom. There's Varangard at the top are battling out. Is that way? Can I just find out what unit the Varangard at the top are facing off against? I think
that's a unit of
just go down, John, go back to the Varangard that were on the objective where you were. No, back, down into the middle, down from where you are.
There.
Nice. Okay, so he has put those those Blitzbarb archers, so he's brought them across, so those Varangard won't be able to go back and help with this fight.
And Rob, it does look like he's taken that one Varangard that was rallied back out of that unit. Nice. So, got to be happy. He's killed the same model twice.
So he's going in here, and he's going to go and wreck that unit, which is pretty exciting. But then if you look at the top down, that's pretty smart, because then those Blades that came round, although are getting punished, fighting the Knights, were contesting that objective. But look, they just don't have the output. And look, all these Blitzbarb archers here fighting into Be'lakor, and Be'lakor's doing an okay job there. We're down to 4 Varangard. I'd like to know if those Varangard have powered in attack twice, because if not, you've got Be'lakor, you've got the Mask, you've got that's a lot of attacks to potentially go into those Varangard. So he needs to clear them. So what Jonas has done quite nicely is he split these forces. Like, look, you don't really care about these Blitzbarbs, but you do care about this objective. Then he's like, you do care about all this in the middle, but it's not on an objective. You do care about this bit at the bottom. So he's really forced the very limited amount of output, limited single case uses of output for Morton into different positions, which has been very sensible. So currently probably too close, although look, those Slick Blades keep going off. They've only got 5 Obama safe down. So they're not very survivable.
And they won't have generated much, if any, depravity.
Almost none.
I actually think, Rob, the reason that they've gone down here is, remember, we saw there was this little thin line of Corvus Cabal in this back corner here.
Okay.
I think the only reason they committed to that night combat wasn't because they wanted that. I think they've probably put a lot of their attacks into the Corvus Cabal, trying to get kills and hoping that they can put a little bit of depravity on the board. So remember, we started this game with a big, thick block here of those Slaves to Darkness, and the Slanesh force has basically just put roadblocks in their way to try and slow the breeze block of pain that has been the Varangard. They've come up here and cleared. They've gotten around, and I don't think the Slanesh force is going to be long for this world.
Yeah, Morton has really put the Jonas on. The other player. That's just great from Gitley in the chat. Thanks, chat, for hanging out and just being great. There's Jesper. Oh, Jesper's about to roll a prio, it looks like.
Yep.
Let's see. Jesper's wearing a kilt at this event. Table 7. This is our Squigs versus
Rob,
zombies.
table 6, what would you call?
Oh, 6. Oh, this is still... I need to make sure the score's updated on table 6. But unfortunately, I don't want to be a Sweden doomer, but this is looking like it's going. How many Varangard left? There are 4.
There looks like there's 5 at the top and 4 in the middle.
4 in the middle. 10-8, yeah.
Unless this is a Varangard, but I think that's the contorted epitome.
It is a contorted epitome.
Okay,
It's a contorted epitome. We haven't finished Slanesh turn 3, and then Slanesh. Okay, yeah, this is just Denmark's game.
Yeah,
I would say, and not only it's very much their game.
It's a great matchup for the Slaves. As we said, the output of those units, very few units, no pinatas for them to bust for depravity, and high armor, meaning even with reducing that armor save by 1, all they need is an all-out defense, and all those bliss barbs are basically thrown.
Listen, if I'm a Swedish fan right now, I'm giving the big yikes. I'm throwing that in the chat, and I'm being like, big yikes, but we'll see. Okay, so our game between Kasper Agdal playing his Jaws of Mork Gunsberg Gitz against Jesper Malenda with his Legion of Light Soulblight Gravelords old book. This is the top of turn 3, and Soulblight Gravelords won the priority, so they are going to be able to bring. They are going to be able to bring this unit here of zombies and also their Graveguard into the fight. And while it does look like a lot of board position has been lost for the for the Soulblight Gravelords, and the Gloomspike Gits have been able to corner basically this part of the board, we are playing twists and turns. There's absolutely no guarantee, Rob, that you're going to hold any of the objectives.
Why? So other than your events, twists and turns is pretty much not played around the world at a single tournament. Your events only play them for the lols. And why is that?
Because it's terrible battle plan for competitive play.
Absolutely.
It's what we call an RNG, random number generating event, so that objectives turn on and off.
And I believe if we look at it, we see a green token down in the bottom left-hand objective and red tokens on the central ones. So I think if we have a look, it looks like we have 1 objective available on the board, maybe 2. It looks like there's that one in the top corner, and 3. So at the moment, even though the Squigs, if we go to the top down, at the moment, even though the Squigs, look at this board presence, they're here, they're here, they're here. They've cleared so much of this Soulblight army off. The 2 objectives that they've fought for have turned off, and the Soulblight have screened the 3 winning objectives, meaning that because of the random number generator, even though the Squigs have clapped Manfred's cheeks and taken him off the board, even though they've torn a hole through a unit of direwolves, removed a big block of zombies, they're down on points because their objectives just went, yeah, nah, bruh.
Yeah, so the question being asked about why the TO chose these battle plans, the TO actually tried to make the captains change to not having all of the same battle plans being played. Sorry, not all of the battle plans from this current General's Handbook be in play. Unfortunately, the captains, because the World's Council accept votes on certain issues, the captains all voted it wasn't all, 90% of them voted to have it in. And so this is on the captains.
Yep.
In fact, we heard one of the key matches between England and Denmark yesterday came down to several of these battle plans being in effect, and unfortunately for them, that basically that lost them the game. Table 8. Table 8. We've just heard about a turn 4 priority. There is Marathis on the board. Daughters of Cain are taking turn 4
with 3 models left on the board by the looks of it.
Well. They've won all the priorities as well. Christopher showing why he's such a ledge. It looks like they're also... can we make sure the score's updated, please? Thank you to Chiltup for donating a gift sub in the chat. That's very lovely of you as well.
Oh.
Yeah. The Hordes always win it for you. Anyway, the big vamps are bait. Okay, so talking about twists and turns. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Okay, so that's a better score. That's 15-14 going into round 4. Thank you very much. I think unfortunately though for Christian, Dan.
Yeah.
Then
there's not much counterplay here.
So that is a win for Denmark. Oh, also table 7. I don't know if the score's updated on that. Table 7 might be the only game for Sweden.
No.
But they're very slow.
Ronya.
Okay.
I'm never counting her out, Rob. Not even until even when they submit the scores, I'm not counting her down and out.
Okay. So if anyone's keeping track right now, and as far as I can see it, that's 8-0 to Denmark.
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
Table 7 is going to be Git's turn 3, starting now.
Rob, just to jump back quickly and talk about the captains voting for these battle plans, I spoke to a number of players from a number of teams over the last couple of days about it. They all went to their captains and said, why on earth did you vote this in? And the response overwhelmingly was, we didn't really think about it, which does seem about right. I think they thought, yeah, we'll vote.
I mean, someone made the point yesterday. They were like, it should be the winner of the game. Like, you should be the winner of the game, and the game is all 12 battle plans, I guess. Competitive play, even competitive play for other game systems.
Yeah.
I'm just going to update Tom. I don't know if you can hear us, but it does look like a straight 8-0 to Denmark in this matchup. Now, that's early predictions by me.
I refuse. Rob is saying that Ronya's going down. Sure, she's in a corner. Tom, the ref, saying that after that was said about the Dutch team, he trusts nothing.
That wasn't me. Again, that was Mike. Mike can't count.
Yeah,
which is dangerous because he does IT. So check the servers.
However, without that man, none of this would be running. All these tables wouldn't have been as efficiently connected as they are.
Table 7 is the one game I said was tenuous. This is the one game that could go to Sweden for Jesper.
Yeah.
So very close.
I think that he'll get this, and I think Ronya will take her table back as well. I believe in it. I think the thing is, we need to believe, Rob. It's just like a fairy. Every time, if you stop believing, they die. So you've just got to believe in Ronya's dominance there.
Oh, you absolutely do. You absolutely do. So we'll see. Table 4. Lumineth have won the priority into turn 4. There we go. That's what they needed. Get the big push. They're going to be able to push a lot of those models into this objective. Now, don't forget, they need this for the 20-0. They've already got 15-5.
They're not Denmark not struggling on round points. However, remember, at the end, it does matter how well they do. I don't think, though, if they get a big win here, they're really, really going to put themselves far and above on those points. It'll be really hard to be caught.
There's only 40 points between them and Team USA, who are kind of in 6th place.
Yeah.
So it's still very close. But the Danish team have hit only the toughest nations. They've hit England. They've hit America. They hit France, and so they got what I would say is like all the tough matchups out of the way.
Yep.
And now they've just got a round 6 finish.
Yeah.
Where there'll be a certain amount of points they'll need, and that'll take them over the edge. Yeah. That's all the Danes need. So table 3. Well, our board is wrapped up.
Table 3, I think maybe that's table 2. Table 2 we're talking about here. Table 3, all the terrain is in the middle of the table.
Because the game is over. Which called for Denmark.
It would be very unusual if an ability allowed them to do that. Would be powerful, though. What we're looking at here is really...
The Verminor Warbringer went in. I told you it would go in, and it's gone into that unit of Bulgor on the far right-hand side.
Yep.
Doesn't look very good for the Skaven, though, as they've got a unit of Clan Rats in the middle.
Surrounding what looks like a single character.
And a Verminor Warbringer.
He's got a toe on the objective, obviously, probably outscoring this unit up the top, but not long for this world because there's a big, beefy unit of Bulgor here that will almost certainly come across and backhand them off the board. This Warbringer here, very, very threatening, but we could see him easily being outscored by any of these units.
So Be'lakor actually failed every 3 up. So Be'lakor did his Dark Mastery ability on the Vermin Lord, and then you had to roll a 3 up and then cast magic. Then he was also able to charge, and then he also was able to fight. Yeah. So in every other world, that Vermin Lord Warbringer isn't even fighting, and he's just stuck in the middle. So that's another tough position for Sweden, because even when the Vermin Lord could do some pretty good work here, could come up to the top, but he's very resource light now.
He is. I think we do see 2 light little galley champs down here for the Skaven, another here, so they do still have those objectives secured, scoring pieces, but Skaven characters are not very strong,
so
meaning that they go down.
So we have a final result on table 1.
Yep.
Here we go. 28 to Denmark.
Yep.
19 to Sweden. That's the second win for Denmark confirmed.
Second locked in.
It's the second win for Denmark confirmed. Those Kharadron Overlords decimating those Fireslayer forces in that match. That is all gone. Yikes. Looks like IKEA is moving south.
Yep, that's it. They're going to go somewhere where they'll have to pay taxes.
Oh, boy. Okay, Queeks are in the chat. Very excited. Yeah, big shout out to Sven. Philip, you had a tough match there. You did really well. Well done to Team Sweden. You're trying your hardest. Table 2, that's that match where we're seeing the Skaven go down very slowly, but it's definitely happening. Not only my Bellacore failed, all 3+ rolls well. Okay, lovely. I know, it's pretty rough. I know, but you tried your hardest. You're doing great. Table 3 is all over. We've called that for Denmark.
Yep.
Table 4 looks like they're pushing into the mid-board.
I mean, the thing is here, this Lumineth, if they can find a way to push in and outscore this turn, clear enough models off this objective, we could see a big 20-0, which is Rune at this point almost certainly playing for that. There's no way he's at no risk of seeing these Slaves to Darkness units getting back and leapfrogging back the other way. So he's got it to, which is why the cowardly Techless, who usually hides behind his lines like a pitiful elf, he's pushed up the board because he's got nothing to be scared of.
Nothing to be scared of at all.
A middle manager, the magical god of nothing.
We've been asked to find out how the game with Ireland is going. They're currently playing against
Canada.
Are they? They're all wearing different shirts at this point, so it's a nightmare to try to work out. Yeah, they are working against Canada. It's a battle of the bottoms, Dan. That's who they're battling against. Oh, yeah, our man John in the field is going to walk around.
He's going to get the shots.
Is USA winning freedom from England again? Actually, I forgot that. Are the USA playing England?
Yeah, we did. I did get a little update from them, and the last update I heard was that we had 2 resolved shots from England, 2 resolved games from the England-USA matchup. It was both the Lurkers below missions, and they have each gone a 20-0 either way.
Okay, yeah.
So on a knife edge there.
Okay, so John, our man, our wonderful cameraman for 5 days is smashing it. We got a table 8 result. We'll go back to that.
Okay.
Remind us about that again in 2 minutes, Charlie. So John might want to walk over towards that palm tree, slowly walk over, because we're currently seeing your camera. There we go, John. That's it. So you got Scotland there playing against Team Austria. So Scotland was just a big win there.
Now, Rob, I actually really need Scotland to get the big win, and I also need Australia to do, because I need lots of wins.
Stop there a minute, John. That's France versus Italy. Sorry, Dan. Not to cut you off. France versus Italy. This is actually a pretty important match. There's Jorin, the winner of singles, and there's Andrea Epis. You can see him at the back there, captain for Team Italy. Now they're actually in striking position also of a podium.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting match. Both teams want to cap the other team, getting 20. Oh, we've had a French spy observing the Denmark-Sweden game, apparently.
Wow.
Yikes. Okay, so much subterfuge. Oh my God, amazing. And then over on the left-hand side, they do have that French spy. He is a lurker below. and then there's England, there's Jeremy Vissier, and there's England versus the USA. Pretty close match. And then you got Norway. They're lined up against the Netherlands. That'll be a super fun match for them at the back. And then the Swiss are playing against Team Northern Ireland at the far. No. Who are Norway playing? Belgium. Oh, they're playing Belgium. That'll be a great match as well. Belgium have done really well. Norway versus Belgium. Belgium won both lurkers 20-0. Apparently the French spy has been following the Danish all tournament. Doesn't need to follow him anymore. They battered him.
What are you watching? Just to see them kick 7 Shades of Shirley out of another team after they took you down as well? It's like, maybe this will make me feel better, because if they hurt someone else, I don't have to feel bad inside.
I love that there's subterfuge at the level of spying, which is pretty impressive. Yeah. Just a friendly French observer is actually what it is. Yeah. We might have French on the final game stream. We'll see, because that'll be fun to do. But anyway, thanks, John, for looking around the room. There's loads of games happening, but we do think we have an update.
On table 8.
Table 8 has been wrapped up. It's 26-21 to Denmark. Sweden doing really well there to get 21
still
points.
Quite tight.
Massive congratulations to Sweden. Huge. Don't forget Denmark didn't get any priorities though.
Yeah. So couldn't really capitalize on a double turn at all.
Table 5, I think I just heard. We heard Sinesh full send into the beleaguered forces of Ronya. Ronya got. What has she got left?
Look at this. It looks like the contorted epitome
has gone in. The Bliss Bomb Archers have gone in.
They're all. What is this? Like, Rob? Look. Okay, Scrivo's got us the shot there. Thank you, Scrivo. Just hold it there for a second.
Come on, Ronya,
you can do it. Look. Okay, contorted epitome here into the Boing Rot Bounders. The Boing Rot Bounders have got it. Sure, a lot of the truffle pigs are dead. So much is dead there. Ronya, you've got this.
Mouth! Stop it, Mouth!
How dare you?
Come on, how dare you?
Here's what happens, Rob. Here's what happens in this game. It's Ronya's to win. It's absolutely Ronya's to win. At the bottom of this, sure, he'll kill a little bit. Clammy Hand is going to bring back another unit.
To be fair, and you are going to laugh at this, but she does technically have him exactly where she wants him.
That's it. You know why? Because all these units are together. Everything. So if they do come out next turn...
Bring the herders back. Bring the herders back out of the Loon Shrine. Oh, no, it only happens at the end of her turn. Okay, bring it back. Disaster. Bring herders back. Bring herders back at the end of her turn is going to be the secret source. Bring herders. I'm going to say it for the 19th time. Bring herders back at the end of her next turn. Win the priority. Wipe the whole Sinesh army out. Cap the points. Get the Grand Strat. Go home.
That's it.
She currently has left 3 Boing Rot Bounders, 1 Squig Boss with Nash's Squig,
a Fungoid Cave Shaman,
1
Sneaky Snuffler.
Technically the best Sneaky Snuffler.
Yep.
Right?
The sneakiest one.
Yeah, is the score updated? Let's go find out. If Ronya wins, Sweden wins, right? The moral victory.
That's it.
Yeah.
This is the only match. I don't mean to diminish any of the other matches. This is the only one that matters.
Okay, so table 6, we've heard it's Slaves of Darkness turn 3. Just going to get you an update on that. It does look like the Varangard are down to the top left hand. Oh, what a late play by Jonas. Jonas playing a blinder.
Yeah.
Let's go, Jonas. He's Bellacored this unit of Varangard at the top. And then the Epitome has pinned those Varangard. The Epitome also is going to have an artifact, the Crown of Dark Secrets, which is going to reduce all of the melee weapon profiles down to 1.
Oh, and Rob, look at here. We've seen these Seekers that went in down the bottom have kept the Knights and the Corvus Cabal. They're pinned into that combat. Rob, is there a chance for the Pretenders here? They have just been able to diminish the ability of this.
Jonas has played a blinder.
Jonas. Oh, the Bronus. This is incredible.
Yeah, Jonas has been Jonas has been stop, pause, screen, pause, slow you down, pause. This late game Bellacore, bring this unit in, has done a great job of just slowing this very aggressive, what should be a very fast army round.
Yeah, and I think a really, really good use of that. Like, it would have been very tempting to use Bellacore early to think that you had a single big turn of shutdown, but doing it this slow, this late, incredible, great.
Really, really good. Thank you to Pugsley for shouting out T-Sports Network team for covering this tournament as much as you can Love your work and love seeing the quality games as well as the commentary. Well done. Thank you. Special shout out to Dan, who's been a soldier on the commentary team for the entire weekend. He's been wonderful. And Mark, Cabbage, and also Mike for all of the hot information from the tables. John for the lovely camera work. There you can see. And then the absolutely gorgeous Ziggy for bringing us all the hot stats. He's been the best. So absolutely wonderful stuff. Let's see what I think. These are our matches so far. Denmark versus Sweden. We will put the results in as they come in. But currently, Let's Go Exon, a.k.a. Jonas.
Interesting to see if we can get the head-to-head stats on these to see how it's played out versus what we would have expected from the stats that they would have been scoring, because I think Denmark here probably had the nuts. It's looking like a rough outcome for Sweden at this point in time. Now, I just have to say that of this, the rest of the field, super quickly, I need Austria to go down hard, and I need Australia to really bring the wins. I made a very bad bet. Rob, with the Austrian team.
I think you need the film industry to some reason move to Australia.
Yeah, that's going to help me a lot. I'm going to need to bring a lot of people with me. So what happened was I made a bet that whichever team got higher in the standings, if my team was lower, I would get a tattoo of an ibex eating a schnitzel, which is a goat eating a schnitzel on my bum. And if Australia got higher, their captain had to get a tattoo of a platypus eating a Golden Gay Time ice cream. And then Australia proceeded. I thought it was a safe bet. I thought my buttocks was secure. My buttocks is very insecure, Rob.
Oh, dear.
Yes,
oh, dear.
I could be in trouble.
Never make a bet about tattoos. That's what I always learned.
No, not a good move.
That's how I ended up with a picture of Shaquille O'Neal on my butt. But that's a story for another day.
You have a picture of Shaquille O'Neal in your butt? Rob. Okay, we're going to talk about this off air.
It's a different story for another day. Right now we're doing Warhammer, and it's pretty exciting. If
you got
have
the
just
shack
joined
on
us,
your crack.
If you have just joined us, we are at the Age of Sigmar World Team Championships. There are 24 players here in Hotel Schiphol in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, where the Dutch live. And we have got the Alliance Open team. The Alliance Open team.
The psychic prediction
running the event and doing a great job. And we are into round 5, round 6 still later today to find out who will be the Age of Sigmar World Team Champions. Don't forget, the current reigning champions are Team England, but our current team on the screen, Denmark, was able to beat them round 2, blowing the field wide open and legitimately making it a thrilling tournament.
Yeah.
There is still other teams in the mix. France definitely in the mix, Italy in the mix, but it does look like a dominant position for Denmark in this game so far.
Absolutely.
With 47 minutes left on the clock. We don't know what the answer is. Let's go.
We've had results from 3 tables, Table 1, Table 3, and Table 8, all over bar the shouting. So we are... Oh, dear.
No, they can't hear it.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep going, Dad.
So all over by the shouting. Obviously, the thing that's going to matter here for Sweden is how many points they can scrape back, because the more they can get back, the better it's going to be for them, and the closer potential they'll have to podium. But however, they will need to dominate that last game if they are at any hope of taking any medals home today.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so let's just try and blow through these games again. It does look like the Bellacord unit of Varangard were able to charge in, though, and then we'll find out if that Bellacord unit were able to fight as well.
Yeah.
So that means Bellacord failed twice, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they couldn't fight, Rob, is what we're hearing. They did fail the roll, so they can't fight, meaning they've gone in, but they're not going to score this objective. And that unit of Blitzbarb Archers with that late-game Bellacore is going to hold the objective over the Chosen of the Ever-Chosen. Massive!
That's pretty fun.
Huge.
That's pretty fun. Jonas has played an amazing game here. That would be 11 to 10 models.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, very, very impressive. That little homunculus keeping the point at the top of the board. Yikes. Great play by Jonas there. And then Jesper, we got table 7. Soulblight, 1 priority. They took it again. They're just looking to score as many points as possible. You can see here a unit of Fellbats. Jesper, I never doubted you. 15 points to you. The Squigs have very little time left on their clock.
And only 1 active objective for them to score, where the Soulblights still have 3. Massive. We might see a points win again based on the battle plan.
Yeah, you might honestly get 2 games go to Sweden in this match so far.
Yeah.
So it might go 6-2 to Denmark. Those games are pretty big wins as well.
Mm-hmm.
They would need all to be 20-0s to get the 120, which they won't be. So this... Oh, no, that's not true, because they will get some points out of the losses
They'll get
as well.
some big ones out of that.
They get some losses. But I think we're going to see them be close to the cap. I need to do the math during lunch to work out exactly how close it is. I've heard some other updates. England versus USA, currently 2-1 to England, both winning 20-0 on lurkers below. The Netherlands have got 1 win against the Swiss so far. Canada versus Ireland, 3 wins to Canada. Captain looking confident of a cap versus Ireland.
Wow.
That's like kicking kids. That's not.
Yeah, but remember,
Don't be too impressed.
Team Canada, they're kids as well. So this is just it. Right now, it's a fight in the playground.
Yeah, I feel like it's at least toddlers kicking some kids.
Yeah.
Other way around.
It's the grade 7s beating up a bunch of grade 3s.
Yeah. That's what they're doing. Good work, Canada, Ireland. Believe in you. Oz versus Czech, 220-0s to. This is to.
Okay, tell me some good news, Rob.
Australia against the Czech Republic. Yes! 220-0s to Australia on lurkers and 115-5 to Australia as well. So 3 wins.
Thank God. My bum is safe.
And then Wales versus Spain. Wales have got 3 games against Spain at the moment, is what we've heard so far.
Okay.
So lots happening right now. feels less bad that I lost to Jesper in February now. Yeah, killing it on the world stage. He's doing really well. It's currently Denmark 45 versus Sweden 15. The player versus player course card up. I do, thank you, Ziggy. There you go. So that's currently the score, Denmark versus Sweden so far. Lots to play for on these games. Those wins were big, 16, 15, and 14, so they'll be quite happy with that if they can get that across the board. But they're definitely going to lose. I think they're definitely going to lose this game with Jesper.
Yeah. Could we jump into table 4? I want to see if the Lumineth have the position to maybe push onto that objective.
Yeah, they're already there.
You reckon they're going to get the big 20-0?
They're going to get the 20-0.
They are. Look, they'll clear this off. Yeah, for sure.
It's going into Slaves to Darkness turn 4. And we've still got another turn for Techless.
Yeah, either way, the priority goes.
So interestingly, what has won that game, if you wanted to join us from the start, it's Lurkers Below, so you have to hold all 3 objectives. Techless obviously was deployed on the far right-hand side, and then on the left-hand side was the Slaves to Darkness force featuring Archeon, and then 4 units of 20 Splintered Fang.
Yeah.
So Archeon was able to go over and fight because he's Bravery 10, but the 2 units of Splintered Fang were constantly being shut down by the Cathalar's spell and also Techless' spell, so they were never able to engage in the fight. So even though he had 4 brutal combat units, he was never once able to run across the board and bring them into the fight, meaning Archeon had to try and fight everyone on his own, eventually failed and died. And so, Rune Hulsa for Denmark is going to get the big 20-0 here, which is going to be good. Which, if we look at our title again, is going to immediately take us up to 65 points for Denmark. Which with the cat, well, that's the result from 4 games. With the cat being 120, so halfway there to what they want, and they want to score really big here, especially because their next matchup is probably going to be, and again, no insults to whoever they're about to play, one of the easier matchups. They've definitely beat all of the front runners so far, so they need to get, and they'll just need to get a certain amount of points.
Yeah, I mean, look, this doesn't look great. We can see here from the Scrivo cam, not only is there barely a handful of models left on this objective, there is a rune of petrification up, there is a big, beastly stone cow monster, and then the Dawn Riders aggressing, and it looks like some surviving wardens as well. It actually looks like Archeon, though he took off a number of models from the board, hasn't really been able to clear units away and take those pieces and that tech from the Lumineth army. Honestly, a little bit more fun covering a Lumineth Alarith list rather than just all these Helon shooting lists, but they are still rubbish elves.
Well, because it's also aggressive, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't just always play defensively and then maybe do something. Like, it does something on the tabletop.
Great for this matchup too, because unlike Helon, they don't just want to sit in a castle and then slowly walk forward. They can actually push and aggress onto objectives.
Agreed. Okay. So table 1's all over. Table 2, it does look like the Verminlord Warbringer has been able to clear all the Borgor that were previously able to hold all those objectives. We're currently, Be'lakor still engaged with that Verminlord Warbringer, though. It is the Beast of Chaos turn, and they're on their 3rd turn, so it's the bottom of the turn. And they've got just to clear a bunch of stuff out. They have to clear all of this and all of this down here. That's a smart play. There is another unit of Clan Rats on the side, and as soon as they do that, and as long as they can, it looks like they've decided to keep Be'lakor in combat as well. The Verminlord has taken 8 wounds.
Yeah.
That's the only major threat that's on the board, and we're into the charge phase. So here you can see the charge coming in. The charge has been made, so that unit that unit of Clan Rats will get lifted off the board. This is going to put...
Rob, do you think we're going to see the double charge again, where they go in, maybe mortal wound off a reasonable portion of those Clan Rats, and then use it to double charge and get into the character? Or it looks like, I can't tell if that unit on the bottom corner of the board is Ungor or...
It is Ungor.
It is Ungor.
It is Ungor. It is Ungor.
They won't clear them with mortals.
Yeah, and there you can see there's the Doom Ball at the back. There's the Ungor Raiders as well, so they'll have done some shooting. So there is a unit of Skaven at the bottom left-hand corner, though. So we're about to have priority though on table 4. We'll come back to this in a minute, but definitely this is... Here we go. She got a unit back. Ronya got a unit back. She's in it.
She failed a battle tactic.
Okay, Ronya.
Ronya, come on.
Priority. Come on.
Rob and I are both up on the chairs. We're staring down.
Let's turn the mics down immediately.
Yeah, let's not do it. Let's go to the Scrivo cam. He does have the shot. Okay.
What did she bring back? She brought back the Squig Herd.
It's a 5 for Denmark and a 6 for Ronja.
She brought it back.
She's got the priority. Now, how does she win this game, Rob?
Really hard.
Really hard. She really needs to think about this. Okay, Ronja, I never gave up faith, so don't break my heart.
Okay, so there's a 6-point difference, which is pretty big. But okay, let's look at the board. As you can see, so the Bliss Barb Archers and also Slipblade Seekers are trapped around here. And then there's another unit. To quote General Patton, we're surrounded, boys, which means we can't miss.
That's it. Yeah. Target-rich environment, Rob. We've got this unit back here.
So that's a unit of Squig Herd. So what we probably want to do with our unit of Squig Herd, this is turn 4. What we probably want to do with this unit, let's have a little look. Oh my God, he's trying really hard.
Really, you got to believe in yourself. Okay, so the thing is, she's still been scoring this home objective because she's got the galley champs on them. But looking at it, these squigs. Okay, here's how it happens. This character here this last little seeker killed off in the combat phase, the one near the shrine. The rest of the unit YOLOs across and somehow multi-charges both of these 2 units in the backfield.
No, because they're going to get a standard shoot as well.
Ah, they are. Well, no, not if you come through the overgrown forest, Rob. If you come through the... Oh, no, they'd still get a standard shoot, wouldn't they? Yeah, okay.
They also, this Mouth is on 56 depravity.
Jeez, so they all have a 5-up invulnerable, a 5-up ward.
They also have and they're also -1 to be hit.
I still believe in her.
Listen, I'm the king of desperate plays, but, ladies and gentlemen, that is true. I am the king of giving up multiple times across a single turn and then winning most of those games I give up on.
So that's it. That's why you never give up on Ronja. She is the Night Queen and she's got this.
I don't know. I don't know if the board, I don't know if the chat or the people watching at home can see something I can't see. She just doesn't have the resources. Mouth has done a really great job of whittling down each resource as it comes. There's a Squig boss on Nash Squig. There's a fun called Cave Shaman. It's just he just rallied one of these 2 units of Seekers as well, making it more of an issue.
Unfortunately, those 2 priorities that went against her in the last 2 rounds, either of those go her way, and she really would have been in a dominant position on this. But unfortunately, this priority come a little too late.
Come on, Ronja. There's something I don't know about Gits, which I'm about to see. Scragrot's dead. Yikes. Okay, we'll come back to this. Okay, so on table 6, we see Morton give away the priority, which has just gone into turn 4 to end the Be'lakor ability, so he didn't have to suffer it again.
He needs to get there. Like even off the charge, this unit here is going to be able to kill.
And if you look, the Slipblade Seekers have gone. So they are gone now. They are dead.
Yeah.
And so now it's all about that unit of Bliss Barbs at the top. And again, there's 2 Varanguards left.
2 there, yeah.
If we don't watch the end, Ron, you can't lose.
That's true. If we didn't see it, it never happened. Just like a character that dies off screen, it never happened if we don't see it. So we shall never return to table 5.
No, we need to give Mouth his win.
Yeah,
Mouth's about to pick up the biggest scalp in Age of Sigmar.
He is too. He's about to paint the biggest target on his back as well, because every single person in the chat and around the world is going to be gunning for him.
Just crying into the night. Wow. Okay. So table 7 is the bottom round 4. We'll go through all these games in a minute to kind of catch you up. There's only 2.5 minutes left for the Squigs at the moment in this match between Denmark and Sweden. Both these two teams are currently the leaders of the leaderboard at the World Team Championships. One of them will go on to play. Sweden has had a slightly easier run up until now than... Oh, not slightly,
what do you mean?
definitely.
They had to play Australia. I couldn't even say that with a straight face.
So they had a slightly easier run up until now, and now we've got the big roll. Table 4 priority roll into round 5. This is going to be pretty important. There's literally nothing left for Slaves to Darkness Army. Rune just needs to roll this to get the win.
Either way, even if Slaves to Darkness wins the priority,
Slaves to Darkness have won the priority roll.
All they're doing is guaranteeing that they lose at the bottom of 5 rather than the top.
Yeah.
Which
I just be like, Joe, what? You take the turn.
No. It's a point of pride for me, Rob. It'd be a point of pride for me. I'd be like, yeah, you're going to win. I'm going to make you play every single turn of this game to get it.
Yeah, we got 32 minutes on the clock. I'm prepared to do every one of them.
Yeah, no. Like if I've got 20 minutes left on the clock, I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to sit there and enjoy a 20-minute beer before I say.
This is rough for Michael. Because so he is seeing if he can bring a unit back to affect the game. There's a Rune. Look at the big Danish team.
Yeah.
Like, very serious focus. Actually, Rune's got a really interesting board state, like a play style. He sits like that. I've seen it in most of his games.
Yeah.
And he hunches over and look, his head is forward though.
Interesting.
He's like zooming in with his eyes.
Interesting. Most players want that kind of overhead view. They want to see as much and see like from like a bird's eye. Yeah. But he wants to get down amongst his models.
Yeah, his head is like in the game.
He is physically looking at the battlefield.
Yeah,
like
Michael knows he's lost that game there, and he's had a tough time.
Yeah, it was a tough matchup for him. If he'd have maybe gotten around some of those I think crushing despair and crippling vertigo or whatever it is. Yeah. If he'd have got around that even one of them instead of having it on 2 units.
Doing it again. It's like how do you be good at Warhammer? Literally get into the Warhammer.
He looks like an Italian-smelling pasta. That's what he looks like. And as somebody who lived in Italy, I can confirm that's exactly how you engage with it.
He's close enough to smell the pain, is where he is.
He's like, you use Proacryl.
So he's ready to play. All right, okay, so all he has to do in order to get the points for this game, though, is move his models or kill a couple of units here. As quite rightly pointed out by our table boss, Michael is playing with a Ravager's army, though, so he has the ability to recycle those units of 20 Splinter Fang into a unit of 10. But there's absolutely enough output here from the Stone Mountain tech list, the Dawn Riders, and also, you love to see it. Can we just talk about the fact we never, ever see that model from the Lumineth Realm Lords play in competitive play, and that model is the Light of Altharion, vamped until I've remembered. The Light of Altharion, you never see him in competitive play, and he probably will be in one of the Lumineth list for the world's winning team, probably. Right now, they're the favourites. They're the front runners.
If they win, the Lumineth list that won was the only Lumineth list that wasn't a heal-on shooting castle. Amazing. Now, look, there is...
And also didn't have a single Lumineth Realm Lords model in it. So
Rob, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong. Is there a chance that he can force the miner here? Even with 2 turns, because you need to score these objectives in sequential turns in order, correct?
Yeah, so if he could drop something over there, right? So what he could do is drop a unit, but then Rune would have already said, have you got Tunnel Master? Have you got anything?
No. Yeah, of course.
So he hasn't. So currently owned by Denmark, is right in the middle, and then all he has to do is take this and he takes it off.
If a unit could get a charge into the back here, maybe potentially that he could take that middle objective and force, so he's got to reset, get this, and then not get it, but...
Okay, so he's all started here at face, and now he's picking a tactic. We'll see. Maybe he's about to blow our minds. Maybe he's about to deny
some kind of Swedish magic.
Table 2, Beasts dropped a tactic, as many people do, is because they didn't do desecrate their lands, because they chose a garrison, and in order to desecrate their lands with a garrison, you have to be inside the garrison.
Yeah, big move.
You have to be inside the garrison. So they've dropped a tactic because they forgot what happened there. So that's pretty interesting. And here you can see the Bulgor going down, the Verminlord Warbringer at the top right-hand side, still engaged with Be'lakor. So this is still all to play for. I would say that this is still... And it is Skaven turn 4 now. The Verminlord Warbringer can't have many wounds left at the moment. Can't have many wounds left.
Not with, admittedly, look, they're not great.
He's taken 9.
He's only taken 1. One more, he was at 8. Look, 20 Ungor Raiders, they're not the best. They are only throwing toothpicks, but enough toothpicks will bring down the big rat.
Oh, it's 40 shots.
Yeah.
40 shots, 4s and 4s. You're giving someone 10 wound dice. They statistically do 5 wounds to... no, the Verminlord's got a 4-up. 3 up, 5 up
defense,
ward.
yeah.
You're probably doing 2 wounds to him.
Yeah.
That's not bad, though.
They'll chip it away. That's it. With Be'lakor there, they'll chip him away. Potentially we'll see these Bulgor go into him as well, though I think we're more likely to see them. This is a Skaven Galician champion up here, so I have a feeling we will see these Bulgor coming across and clearing that last Galician champion off of the objective to secure it and score the points.
Yeah, so we've just seen a redeploy right now from, I'm not sure which unit we saw it from there. The Bulgors, just trying to get away from the clan rats, I think. But actually, no, the redeploy here specifically so they could just get closer to the Vermin Lord.
Yeah, of course.
That's what they were doing. And also get in range of the Doom Ball. Doom Ball giving them. Now, if he was the general, within 18... Oh, no, it's a 12-inch ability
12
anyway.
inches for the charge in the combat phase.
It's a charge in the combat phase, so it won't be close enough. There are 28 minutes left on this round. Yeah, a great shout, chat. Well done. So we're very, very close at the moment.
So on table 4, we've just heard that the Slaves player has found a battle tactic to kill a totem, meaning that they do potentially have play to pick up the mountain, which does count as a big, beefy...
It's just a totem.
It's a totem.
I quite like the totem keyword, although it's just randomly thrown around.
Yeah,
it's just like meant to be like the nexus of power for an army, which is quite fun.
Yeah, but it's not consistently used, unfortunately.
No, but it's a keyword that's on their war scroll, so it's kind of like a narrative addition to what those rules are, and I'm just trying to see. There it is. You can see it. So John, if we get a zoom in on it, please, that'd be great. Get it, boys. It should just be a totem equals BSB. I kind of agree.
Yeah.
So there he is. So he represents kind of the spirit of the people, and he's about to get charged. It's quite nice seeing the old world on the board.
Yeah.
Nice seeing him. So he's going to get charged. I don't know how many wounds he's got on him right now, but he is going to get potentially lifted up. So we will see. And then there should still be enough. There should still be enough here to go and get this objective.
Yeah,
he's only taken 2 wounds.
Yeah, even if they lift him, between the magical output of Teclis, it looks like this is the Light of Eltharion as well. So we've got the Dawn Riders who have different bonuses depending on what they charge into. But if they do charge into 1 wound models, they get a bonus. So they'll be very happy to fight some Splintered Fang. We have no fight on death in the Splintered Fang without Archaon. Light of Eltharion will go in there, and I even think we might see Teclis commit to combat as well. I have a feeling that it'll be everything in the kitchen sink will go into the Splintered Fang, but if he can scrape another couple of points here, it'll still be a 20-0 no matter what the points are.
Yeah, so, but what he's doing is he's playing as if the 20-0 might not happen, which is a really smart play. So he's like, I'm on the points, I'm going to do it, I'm going to get a battle tactic.
Yeah. Thing is, your opponent can still roll double ones to charge. There is still that tiny, infinitesimally small chance that it all falls down around their ears, and if you give up now, you give up forever.
And you play for them. Table 7, we just heard about another priority. This is definitely our Swedish win now. So Jesper pulling it all the way back. A big congratulations to Jesper. So he's going to hold these objectives. He's just got a big points lead, and a lot of that, if we look at the scorecard, has come down to always being able to look at Casper.
Wow.
Wasn't able to hold anything because all the objectives were off. Only able to hold 1 because all the objectives were off. Only able to hold 1 because all the objectives were off. Never able to hold more because the right objectives weren't on.
He couldn't even hold 2 objectives because they turned off in the first battle round.
Yeah, so
he hasn't even held 2 objectives until round 4.
So that's where he's dropped all of his points.
Yeah.
Like, he's dropped all of it on the primary because we're playing twists and turns. And that's like a savage...
Absolutely watertight there, Rob.
Yeah, well-written battle plan. I mean, listen, I didn't choose for it. The captains voted for it, and the captains are dumb. So you shouldn't have. But only for that particular issue.
I'd love to know what the vote was, like what the balance is. 24 team captains. I'd love to know.
It was 90% in favour.
Wow. And what I would also then love to know is how many of the captains that voted in favour dropped a game, dropped games or dropped entire rounds because of twists and turns and lurkers below.
I can name them individually.
They will be smarting like a rash between the thighs.
Yeah, it's a real roughie. Okay, so that's going to be a win to Sweden. We're all wrapped up on table 8. We're all wrapped up on table 1. We are not wrapped up on table 2 yet. Table 3 is all wrapped up. Mm-hmm. Table 4, we think we're about to be wrapped up. Table 5, oh no.
Oh dear.
Oh no, table 5. Slash turn 4.
So we did see these the squigs here have cleared off the unit of Blissbarb archers, but this big block of Slanesh Seekers have come in here. Look, to give you, let's do the recap on the downfall of the Night Queen. So Ronya, playing the Gits, has gone 20 straight victories, undefeated in the last 2 years of Worlds, potentially even the year before that as well. She started with her Gloomspike Gits in a bundle behind the Loon Shrine here. She was given the first turn and so sent a unit of Boiling Rot Bounders up to secure this objective. The Slanesh army deployed very conservatively but very defensively in the back here. Shooters screened by Seekers and then 2 big blobs of combat. This Slanesh army actually has a lot more combat output than it does shooting output, relying a lot more on those Slick Blade Seekers. They were able, in that first, they won the priority. A unit of Seekers came over here and countered the Boiling Rot Bounders. We had the push-up of the Archers and the Slick Blades with a new screen put in place, and then again, devastatingly, they won the priority and put into this backfield here, putting that pressure on Ronya, trapping her in her own deployment and own objective, and have consistently whittled her down. However, she has played a fantastic defensive fight and has really, really fought it out. But look, we see down here, this Fungoid Cave Shaman ran into the back corner, hoping to avoid the ire of them, and yet all of these Slick Blade Seekers have just lined up to end his life.
Yeah, absolute yikes. Okay, this is a lovely shot there, John. Thanks for the little shaman that could. I love that there's 3 snufflers there still. Come on, snufflers!
The sneaky, well, the sneakiest of snufflers. It looks like we've got a couple of squigs here. Oh wait, is that? I thought this was a unit of squigs, but this is still a unit of Blitzbarb Archers.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yikes.
Big yikes.
It's all over.
It's
all Jova.
It's all ogre.
Yeah, it's not happening. Okay,
this is heartbreaking.
Okay,
this
Ronya.
is heartbreaking.
Ronya.
Flip the table, Ronya. But
he also
summoned some Demonettes back here as well.
He also summoned some Demonettes.
But Malthae playing a spectacular game and showing exactly why the Slanesh have been so strong into Gits.
Yeah, Ronya made a really interesting first turn play up in that top left hand corner with a point cross.
Yeah,
I don't think she needed to commit so massively, but she did.
And really gets into Slanesh without Grincrack the Great really struggle. The character giving fight on death to the Squigs, lacking that ability, has definitely hurt this army. But also, big credit to Malthae as well, because he has taken a much more a different list than we have seen in a lot of other. Most of the Slanesh lists we've seen have been a lot heavier on the shooting, where this one took much heavier on the Slick Blade Seekers, committing much more to combat, which probably has given him a lot more movement, a lot more board presence, and the ability to push units off of objectives, which is awesome. Very, very cool. Love to see it. And look, if there was ever going to be an army to bust up the Night Queen's winning run, she has gone down to a perfectly designed army to counter hers after she has played apparently 4 matches into armies that counter hers very well to 4 wins so far. That is spectacular, and I don't know if there are many players at Worlds who have gone 20 wins in a row ever.
No, that's still a good kill streak.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's done a good job there.
She's got a lot of scalps on the belt there.
Yeah, she has. And shout out to Malth. What a fantastic game. Yeah, he's done really well. I know the Danish team absolutely loved the list. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, just fantastic play. Yeah, great work for everyone. It's just really, really solid. Yeah. I mean, there's not much to say with only 20 minutes left on the clock. Oh, so she also went undefeated 2 years ago.
Right.
She's been undefeated at Worlds twice.
Wow. Can you imagine that?
So this will be the first time she's dropped a game at Worlds in 3 years.
Let her breathe. Christ.
Just let her have a rest. John, just let her rest.
She's the queen. Let her be on the throne and not have to come down and deal with all of us plebs.
I know that's the future. That's the future. Right. Okay. So we're going to get a little shot of the hall from John in a moment. So there you can see Team France in front of you.
Yep.
And Team France currently, as I've just understood it, are on 110 points out of 120.
Wow.
So those spies doing a good job.
Full cap.
For real.
For real.
And they got one game to go. So it looks like they could be potentially Italy on for a big win.
Who would they be into? USA in the final round, potentially? England. Oh, of course. Well, that'd be a great rematch, though, to see in the final round. France versus England after last year.
Serbia. Let's go, Team Serbia. And then, we've got loads of the games still wrapping up, as you can see. Lots of people chatting, but those there you can see Stu from the Northern Invasion podcast. Lots of people still playing their games, trying to get stuff. There's Gareth, one of our judges at the back, eyeballing one of those matches and making sure they played fair and square.
Yep.
There is Madigan, one of our other refs. She's making sure all these games are played fair.
She is the walking rules encyclopedia. If you ever have a question, Madigan can tell you the page, the number, and the rule. It's incredible.
And how your interpretation is wrong.
And it's just like it's like, no, facts are facts. Let me destroy you with logic. It's incredible.
Yeah, but then she hurts my feelings. So, and then you can see, Scotland are up against Austria. You got Finland out the back. Absolutely not. That sounds like the worst stream game ever. And then you can see, who have we got? We've got. We're going back to our games now. Thanks very much, John. This is our match with our Slaanesh army now starting to fall apart in these final moments. Although it does look like we're lifting another. Bellacor's doing great.
Yeah. Is there a chance that the Pretenders could maybe hold this out? This is turn 4, Slaves turn 4, bottom of the round.
Bellacor's taken 11 damage.
If Pretenders get the priority roll, they could potentially screen and score high enough that
Slaves and Darkness just finished their turn.
What
priority roll for round 5? So we need to add the score on for them.
Are the scores accurate?
It looks like Slaanesh have won the priority.
Slaanesh have won the priority, but are the scores accurate? Are we 16 to Slaanesh to 13 to Slaves to Darkness at the moment? That is the question.
So I just want to check what we've got on the board. On the minute, we've got a unit of Knights on the far right-hand side, assuming that they're not dead. We have a unit of Blissbarb Seekers. No, sorry, they're not. They're Hellstriders. They're Hellstriders that have been summoned at the bottom, and a unit of Blissbarb Archers. And then, thank you. And then we have... So this is the up-to-date score. It's 16-17. 16-17 here. And then, so very, very close. So even if it's a win to Denmark, which is looking unlikely, Jonas is going to be able to put a couple more points on the board right now. Okay, we have a result on table 4. And that is, there you go, that's going to be a straight win to Denmark, so you can write that down.
Runa has forced his way across the board. The totem didn't go down, and then it looks like they didn't even really need to do much except counter the unit that had charged here. They stomped the mountain down on the home objective and claimed it for the Pointy Elves.
Okay, so Rune and Michael had a great game, so he's going to run through these games again. Table 1 went to Denmark. Table 2 is still being played out right now, or we're about to line it up. I think we'll find out in a moment. They're still playing. We've got the Bulgur into the bottom of the board. Be'lakor looks to be gone.
Be'lakor lifted, but I also don't see a Vermin Lord anymore.
Vermin Lord also dead.
My guess is that Be'lakor killed the Vermin Lord, and then the Vermin Lord attacked it.
I agree. So that's table number 2. Table 3 is all over to Denmark. Table 4 is all over to Denmark. Table 5 is all over to Sweden. And the result is in. The Queen is down. R.I.P. R.I.P. This is rough for me, Dan.
Yeah.
As you can imagine.
I don't know.
Second time I've lost a Queen this year. And only one of them I cared about.
And this one's devastated.
This is the only one I cared about.
Far more.
Yeah. I've gone from clapping to cheering.
Yeah.
And 1-1 on Queens.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
then table 6.
What do we do?
So Ronja has lost her first game in 2 World Championships. Yeah, very upsetting. So sad. And then we've got Jonas is still playing against Morton. This is very close.
Yep.
We've got Casper versus Jesper.
Yep.
I'm pretty certain that is going to...
The battle plan.
That's
The battle plan really won this match. Good job, twists and turns. You twisted, you turned, and you dominated this board in such a way that you've decided the outcome. Priority meaningless to the power of objectives turning off and on.
Absolutely amazing. Very, very close. And then table 8, we have got a result in there. So there is only 13 minutes left on the clock. And waiting to set some results in. We have just heard that France have got 110 points out of 120.
Ooh, which means they did get fully
with
capped.
One game left. With one game left.
Oh, they haven't finished that last game. Okay, right. There's still a game to go.
Now.
Okay.
And I've just heard that the game between England and the USA is, to quote, close, which is actually bad for both teams.
Yeah.
Although we might have an update in a moment. Okay, no, we don't. That could be table 7. Sol Black have just finished their turn 5. And then Gits have got no time left. So unfortunately for Casper has timed out on this round.
Yeah.
So it will be a Sweden win. So
That's
Sweden
it.
will pick
Sweden's going to get one.
Sweden's going to get one.
Not a full sweep.
Not a full sweep. Not a full sweep at all. Okay, congratulations to Sweden. That's great news.
Yeah.
Okay. So, France can still take first place. They can. They absolutely can, but they need to cap their next round, and they have probably got a tough match next round.
Absolutely.
I don't know if France have played England.
I don't think they have yet, no.
So I think that will be the game that they have. They've already played against the USA. I'm not sure if they played against Sweden.
They met in the final round last year as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. So how much time is left in the round? There's 12 minutes left in the round. Denmark are more than likely going to win, but it all depends on their next match.
I was about to say, and I actually think the problem for both France and England is that playing each other, they're going to hold each other to relatively tight scores, meaning that neither of them are going to have much of a chance of getting above Denmark. So I think that's a bit tough.
Okay, amazing. Okay, do we know the USA-England results yet? No, we don't. We have heard it's close, though, at the moment.
Yeah, they're attempting to throw the tea overboard, and it seems that the English are trying to drain the Boston
But I have
River.
heard that Tom Guan, the silent violence...
Yeah, is he done?
Yeah, no, he is not finished.
Oh, he's still playing?
With 13 minutes left on the clock.
He's furious. He's spitting chips right now. That man,
will be livid.
He had to play all...
Rune in the room.
There he is.
With a big win.
That was it.
With the big win. Great work to Rune. Great work to Denmark.
Job. Solid.
Absolutely great game. Really solid. Yeah, fun game. Oh, my God, amazing. Well done. Good job. Yep. Yeah. Rune, I especially love how you get into the game.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, lower yourself in the game. It's like,
He's not a bird's eye. He's a model's eye kind of guy, and I love it.
Another great game. Great job.
Spectacular.
Denmark
good
doing
stuff.
Good. Great work. Great work. Okay, so going pretty well so far. Lots more to happen. Yeah, our queen forever. Exactly. Yeah, so it's her and Meghan, my queens. That's a joke, by the way. Okay, finally, Italy versus France. France win, close to a cap. Yeah, so we heard they already were on 110.
Yep.
So they maybe have got... they're close. And then that's...
Ooh, Rob, this is an interesting one.
Okay. Mega close. England versus could even be a draw. Yeah, I've heard. Yeah. I've also heard that England versus the USA could be a draw. That puts Denmark quite a few points ahead, with everyone in second place except for France on a good points lead. So they probably only need about 60, 70 points in the next round.
Would
roughly,
it be possible
on some dirty math
to get a check on the security of my butt tattoo and find out how Australia are doing in their match and how Austria are doing in theirs?
Yeah, we have just we did just speak. It is possible that Denmark go 6-0, but don't actually win the event. It all depends on who France play next.
Absolutely, yeah. But that's could be huge. Could be huge. 6-0 and not get the win, because again, the team's event is about performance. So it's about your scores overall. You want to get those caps, those big claps of 120 points around. Yeah. And Denmark have got the wins. They have assassinated a lot of these teams.
I'll just get to the so you guys can hear us. Yeah. So France have already played against Denmark.
Yeah.
Denmark have already played against England.
Yep.
Denmark have already played against USA.
Yep.
So they've already had all the tough matchups. So they're going on to probably an Italy game.
Yep.
Who France just clapped up.
Yep.
Yeah, and I love Italy. I think Italy are great, but I think Denmark has proven taking on everyone who's beat up Italy. Denmark has beat up. Has beat up. So it should be Denmark with a big win against Italy if that goes through. But that's just a guess.
Yeah. But that makes sense.
But France have to clap England.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
The current champions. The current what have we just heard?
So we
Canada's capped Ireland.
Canada has capped Ireland.
The teenagers have beat up the toddlers.
But Australia has capped the Czech.
Australia has capped the Czech Republic.
Australia's capped the Czech. Now, if Austria drop this round, I believe my booty is safe.
Okay, good.
That's really good news for me and my fear of needles.
So Canada, England, USA. So there will be a graphic that we put up soon. That will give you the standings, and then and don't forget, teams can't play each other again.
Yes,
that's the important point to know. Teams can't play each other again. So we get table 2 final result. Both players ended up timing out in their 5th turn because there was only a few minutes left on the clock. And so we just get.
So what's the result? Why was the table boss like teasing us like this, saying both players timed out?
Oh, the overlay is updated. Are we sure? Table 2, a 1-point win to Skaven.
No, not possible. No, we're hearing confirmation from the table, Rob.
That's bonkers.
Because they timed out. It is a 1-point win to the Skaven.
Oh my God!
What an upset!
Skaven went through the Norhole to deny the Grand Strat. Wow. Absolute yikes. Yeah, okay. That's pretty yikes. Okay, so that's a 1-point win for Sweden there.
Huge
news. Because it was looking like a resounding win for them.
But let's talk about what an incredible game for the Skaven. And by that I mean just being slapped across all over the board and yet somehow putting the points down there. I think they got very lucky that there was the timeout from the Beasts, because if they had a turn 5, I think they would have just been able to flood those objectives.
Yeah, they would have, but there was a Grand Strat to deny.
Absolutely.
So there was a teleport from a Skaven unit to be able to deny a Grand Strat on that game.
That's what we're seeing over here.
They failed to deny the Grand Strat. Oh, okay, that's crazy. That's the most Skaven way to win.
yeah.
The little rat that could. Okay, so that's turn 2. So that did go to Sweden then.
Wow, okay.
Table 4's all done. Table 5's all done. Table 6 is this incredible Slaanesh game. And I think Slaanesh,
the Slaanesh might get it.
I think Sweden might get this.
If Sweden get this, what an upset. It'll be like Denmark will still get the win.
5-3.
But instead of going 7-1, it's going to go 5-3.
That's crazy.
Huge.
Yeah, this has really changed. Like in the late game, this has really changed based on a couple of priorities.
Yeah.
Although those wins they did rock in were pretty big. The final score is on the overlay for table 7, and that is our win for Sweden that we were predicting already.
Yep.
So that's 22-18. Jesper versus Casper.
Yep.
Okay, pretty good. Very, very interesting. Right, okay, nice. I'm going to describe that as nice. So that puts Sweden in a good position. Go Sweden, let's go. This also sets them up still for a podium.
It does, yeah.
Still says so. They've got a really, really tough final round.
Yeah.
Where they need to get some big points.
Yeah.
They need to go get some big points right now.
But if they can, they'll have 2 losses, 4 wins. But if they get this is for Sweden rather. If they get 2 losses, 4 wins, but if they get a big one, they'll be able to punch high.
Okay, go on, Dan. Sorry.
I'm just saying, if they get a big cap in this last round, 4 wins, 2 losses, they'll be able to take it. Take the podium.
We just had another result in. Belgium beat Norway 112-48. That's pretty rough for Norway.
Yep.
That's pretty rough. The other teams, and Casper get 9. Yeah, that's how it'll work. And then we're just getting the score updated, and then I think that's all of our games close to done. We've got 4 minutes left on the round for everyone at home. We're very, very close. Still don't know the result between USA and England.
This is table 6, this Slaanesh versus Slaves, that we're still waiting on this outcome because it's tight.
We're getting the score updated in a minute. It's coming through soon. It's looking very close at the moment. Our scorecard will update It's 24
Final
points.
result. What an upset.
What an amazing game. Jonas has played the most phenomenal game.
Now, Morton has played a great game as well. Jonas has just been able, at every turn, to put something in his way to block him.
Incredible play by Jonas.
Great
Incredible
job.
play by
Great
Jonas.
job.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, you love to see it. It's just so good. Put it on the pump-on. Really good.
Rob, we just got handed a note. Would you like to read this out, or would you like to ignore it? Because it.
Yeah, this is exciting. Can I? Is that okay? So some exciting stuff. So we heard about. So one of my favorite people ever, Tom Guan, who only wants to ever play one turn of Warhammer.
But you know what? He only had to play a few because it sounds like you got tabled.
So I'm right in saying
got
this.
tabled.
Tom Guan got tabled by turn 3 on Twists and Turns by KO, and still won by 3 points. None of the objectives turned on for 2 turns after that.
Inaccurate. It turned on my turn for me to score it.
Turned on your turn for you to score it.
Yeah, shut it off.
And then you shut it off.
Yeah. So another win for the battle plan.
Another win for the battle plan.
2 wins for Twists and Turns so far.
Much. So the battle plan doing real good work at this event. Doing real good work. Got another result. USA versus England. And this is one to go home with. Ooh. 82 points for the USA. 78 for England.
They threw a tea party, Rob.
Oh boy!
Put it in the water.
Oh boy! How did Italy do against France? Oh, Italy got beat by France.
They got capped.
Yeah, they got capped. USA beating England is huge for the USA. That means England's second. That's England's second loss at Worlds this year. Like, they are going to be upset by
Team USA
that.
walking around with a pep in their step. Yes, it was a tight victory, but it doesn't matter. As Dominic Toledo told us, it doesn't matter
points to
whether
USA,
you're first.
78 to England. And the thing, and thank you so much, and the thing that changed, oh my God, amazing. And the thing that changed that result in USA versus England from an 82 to 78 was Tom Guan getting tabled by turn 3. All of his objectives on Twists and Turns, though, turning off. And so the England player not being able to score and therefore winning the round for the USA. I wonder who voted for Twists and Turns.
My gosh, that's the battle plan. Not only won a battle, it's not only won 2 battles. It's won an entire round.
It's won a whole round.
It's won a whole round.
Won a whole round.
Never put it in a competitive tournament pack ever again, you maniacs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I heard that already. Thank you so much. Italy versus France. 116 points to France.
Yep.
Italy 44, so that's going to put France and Denmark on the podium to win.
Yeah, for sure.
But France has already played Denmark, and Denmark beat them in a close match. Denmark versus Sweden, final game, 107 points versus 53. They're going to be really happy about that. That puts them in a really dominant position. Yeah. There's going to be we're going to get the final standings in a moment, and when we come back for the final round, we'll come back to here now.
Yeah.
When we come back for the final round, we will give you the updates on what each team needs to secure a win. Denmark and France will have a total that they need to get to where they're
unassailable.
But that will depend, I think, on these results. Massive round, though. USA beating England, Denmark absolutely clapping Sweden, and then France clapping Italy. Incredible round.
Exhausting. I'm exhausted. That was like emotionally. We saw the Night Queen go down. We've seen England go down. What is happening at this Worlds, Rob?
Yeah, this is very, very tense. This is crazy.
Massive.
This is crazy.
Massive.
I mean, Twists and Turns winning it for one of the teams.
Ridiculous. Rob. Absolutely absurd. Hey, Rob, you know what the best thing is about that?
Yeah.
We played Twists and Turns on 4 tables over the course of this tournament.
Yes, I mean, we did, but they all had to play it. They all had to play it. Okay, massive congratulations to Sweden, Denmark, who played a great game, especially Sweden, who brought back like 3 games that I thought were all
from
over.
The jaws
and then
of
they
defeat.
brought them back. That was incredible. Just denied a couple of points to Denmark. Really great game. Great game by Denmark as well. Some really solid performances. Thank you, as always, to Dan. To our table bosses, to Mark, to Scrivo, to Charlie, Ziggy, and also I think that's everyone. And Mike.
And in an hour and a half, we have a massive final round coming up.
And Mike.
We obviously have to do a little bit of math, a little bit of working out who to put on the stream, because obviously we need to find where potentially the win and loss is going to be. But yeah, we'll be back. I think about an hour and a half. An hour and a half will be Game 6, potentially the decider of the entire event.
Maybe. Spice. Join us for that. It's going to be so great. Loads of love. Thanks for tuning in. Get loads of people. Message all your mates, your clubs, your local communities.
Your grandma.
This is about to be the biggest round of Age of Sigmar that's ever happened in the world to date. See you guys in a couple of hours. Bye.